Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome into this edition of the Attitude of Aggression Wrestling Podcast. It is I, your host, Dave Unger, coming to you here today on this lovely January 2nd for the 11th Annual Swaggy Awards, Part 1 of the 11th Annual Swaggy Awards. Man, we got a good show ahead of you guys here today. We have got a full panel, one of the fullest panels that I've seen so far for the Swaggy Awards. It should be a great show. Hope everybody's doing well. Let me go around and kind of do some introductions here and, get everybody acquainted with what we're doing here today. First off, let me explain what this is for those of you uninitiated. For those of you watching us live and you're like, what the hell is this stuff? It is the 11th Annual Swaggy Awards. The Swaggy Awards are an Attitude of Aggression specialty. It is where we celebrate the best of the best in pro wrestling for every year. And of course, this year will be 2025. We are going to be going through 10 categories today, 10 more on part 2, which will be coming up in a week or two. We're not sure yet. But we go around and each of us gives our pick for the certain category. Now, there is not, specifically speaking, a consensus. It is very rare to have a unanimous category. We get like 1 or 2 every year. PC Tunney is the statistician and the record keeper of the Swaggy, so he could tell you kind of exactly how many unanimous categories we've had. I think we had like 2 last year, maybe, which is pretty good.
Let me go grab the archives, damn it, Dave.
The archives. He's grabbing the archives, folks. But that's the gist of it here. We're going to go through. It is a comprehensive discussion of the last year of pro wrestling and the very best of pro wrestling. So let me go around the room and doing it kind of like I'm looking at it on my screen here. First off, let me welcome back into the Swaggy Awards the man, the myth, the legend, the man of all variants, the one and only Rey Ca. Rey, brother, how you doing, man? It is great to have you here. How was your New Year, man?
I brought it in sick, so I'm a little under the weather. So I'm pepped up for this, though. I'm ready. Happy New Year to all you gentlemen, all you fine people listening out there at Elon Land, and yeah, getting ready for this thing.
Yeah, I've been under the weather yesterday as well. I got better today, though. I went through traffic school and passed that my first time out, so I feel relieved, Good God, that is the most boring thing ever. You guys don't want to hear about that. Welcoming also back to the Swaggy Awards, Mr. Tunguska himself, Mr. Rob Bonette. Rob, how you doing, buddy? Welcome back into the show. How was your New Year's? I know you're sporting your Commanders jersey. I'm actually sporting a good team, or a team getting better, the Wizards. How are you doing, Rob?
Yeah, okay, man. New Year was fine. I had the kids over for New Year's, and I fell asleep early, so
I hear you.
what I tend to do nowadays. I think I fell asleep around like 11:30 and something like that, and woke up a few hours later.
Yeah, I did the same thing, kind of like had some people over, the dogs were not having the fireworks, so I took them upstairs and kind of kept them isolated so that they wouldn't freak out. And then everybody else watched the Stranger Things finale, and I still haven't seen it, but we're not going to get into that right now. I do want to go to the man himself, the archivist. Some people there could be the visionary. He could be the architect. He's the archivist of the Swaggy Awards. He is my partner in crime on so many things. I've lost track of them. The one and only PC Tunney. Tunney, how you doing, brother? Happy New Year.
It's a dangerous nickname, archivist, I will document your life, bitch. What are you going to do about it? Yeah. Only one unanimous pick each of the last 2 Swaggies. Last year it was Match of the Year, Cody and Roman, night 2. And then the year before it was, well, I lost my spot. Go to the next guy.
Doing a great job of documenting my life, bitch.
Dynamite drop in there, Monty. Those broadcasting lessons are paying off, buddy.
Yeah, it's paying off.
Dynamite drop in, Monty. That broadcast school has really paid off.
Okay,
Hey,
it was
your stuff
pay-per-view.
works.
BLE of the year for 2023 was night 1 of WrestleMania. So there you go.
So, Tony, did you pick up Trevon Diggs from the airport yet?
Yep, just dropped him off up in Green Bay and made it back in time for Swaggys.
All right.
If I'd known Dan's soundboard would have worked, I would have sent him this audio clip I wanted to use, but maybe I can do that while we're recording.
I'm here.
Speaking of the aforementioned man himself, the one and only DPP, the scientist himself. It's been a while, brother, since we had you on here. How you doing? How was your New Year? How's everything going in DP land?
I'll tell you, it's getting better. It's good to see you, best friend of the DWI podcast. It's good to be on your side of the show for once.
Yeah.
New Year's was great. Just before that, the Dillinator and I actually officially got married, so we kicked off the new year very well. We figured after 17 years, it's about time.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
I don't think
why
it's gonna
jinx
last.
it? Why?
I don't think it's
Yeah,
gonna
me neither.
last. They barely know each other. Like they're living together for the first time now.
Right.
You guys
I got to
kind of
share a house
rushed.
with somebody.
You guys kind of rushed it, didn't you? I mean, that
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah, we thought about it for a while, so figured it
Well,
was time.
congratulations to you, sir. That is awesome. Also, welcoming back into the show the phenomenally funky fresh one himself with his kind of refined background, the one and only AJ Balaz. AJ, how are you doing, man? What's happening? You still in Utah? And what's happening out there for New Year's?
Still the Mormon foreman. We had to deal with the dogs barking at all of the fireworks and whatnot, so that was fun. So we did actually stay until midnight. Gave the missus a kiss during when the midnight dropped on our end. But yeah, no, I'm just, as I told you guys before the show, just we're renovating more of the house. As you guys can see, there's now a bookshelf. There used to be just like a random hanging wall ornament, but now we have an entire bookshelf actually with books and knickknacks and other stuff. So we're just, while we're going through the bull crap of work, we're trying to find some fun in doing stuff.
Sounds
Yeah,
sort of
yeah.
exciting.
Well, y'all make me happy I don't live in Baltimore anymore because people like to celebrate your New Year by firing things up into the air, not fireworks.
No, they do too in Utah. Like, at some point, I had to stop at one point, and I'm like, was that a firework or was that a gun? Wait a minute.
Yeah,
So
look,
speaking
I
of-
lived
allowed those in
after a
Utah.
while.
Speaking of that, so it's so weird to me. Utah is so weird to me because like it's illegal as a Mormon to like drink tea and coffee, but it's like you can shoot up the world for fireworks.
Yeah, but it's a open carry state. Yeah, you can't drink tea, you can't drink soda because it has caffeine. But go grab an AR. You're fine.
Damn, Ray, this isn't Texas, man. There are rules here, Jesus.
Word rules in Texas? Okay.
Oh, there's no rules in Texas. It's a free for all. And speaking of free for alls, I'm saving the best for last. I'm welcoming in the OG of. I mean, this is the guy who got almost all of us into wrestling podcasting when we first started this craziness so many years ago. The former host of the Sunday Segway, the OG. He's like the Don of pro wrestling podcasts. Don Kinney. I'm going to go with that. That sounds good. Yeah. Is the one and only Kinny Killa. Kinny, how are you doing, brother? What's happening over in the UK? Happy New Year, my man.
Happy New Year to you guys. Hopefully you can hear me okay. But yeah, as always, love being on the show with you guys and my brothers from across the pond. Yeah, not much is happening over here. I mean, I turned 40, dirty 40. So, it's, that's a milestone and a half. So just thankful for still being here and all that, working hard, doing a little bit of coaching, and also just getting used to the fact that my son is now taller than me. So a little bit of Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio happening in this household right now. But yeah, I will not give up the Mysterio name. Don't worry. So it's
I've been up this guy KNNI or Y.
Yeah,
sorry.
Hopefully he doesn't nutshot you in front of a million people like certain other guys do. But no
Kenny,
problem.
When he starts getting the mullet, you know something's wrong.
And if I'm visiting too, because it was with Edge, and Edge's name is Adam Joseph, just like mine, if I'm there, just beware of your kid.
But yeah, as always, it's just great to be on the show with you guys. So yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Well,
By the way,
awesome.
hey Dave.
Yes, sir.
This is the first time in Swaggy's history that the black people outnumber the white people.
It is.
Well, let's see.
What an observation.
It's 4-3. Oh wait, Tunney's an honorary black guy. I forgot. You're right.
He's albino.
You're right. He's albino.
Remember.
That's true. That's true. We're all about diversification and inclusion here at the Attitude of Aggression Wrestling Podcast. Before we get into the awards, a little bit of news that I did want to share because this is a pro wrestling podcast, and it's something that Tunney and I kind of stumbled into yesterday, kind of accidentally, but it is important, especially for the future of the Big Five project. So as everybody knows, the library and the content vanished from Peacock on December 31st at midnight. And we were sitting here thinking, wow, I wonder what's going to happen to this. There was rumors that it was going to roll to the YouTube channels. Nobody knew what was going on. I had started to post something out there that I said, I think Paramount should buy the rights to the WWE library just to screw over Netflix, since Netflix did it to them with Warner Brothers Discovery. Right. And then something kind of funny happened along the way. And I got to give credit to this account who I think a lot of us following him, at Kenny Thoughts. And he had posted something when we were doing this that all of the WWE pay-per-view library was showing up on Netflix. Now, this is no secret for people like Kenny, who's known about it in the UK, where Netflix has been, basically the de facto version of the WWE network forever. But nobody knew this was happening in the States. WWE did not announce any of this ahead of time. The fact that all this stuff just showed up magically, and it's like showed up the same way it appeared on Peacock, where all the events are called episodes, tells me that they just migrated what was on Peacock straight over to Netflix. It was not just done quietly. There was no buildup to this at all. I'm not sure how many people, anybody watching this knows about it yet, but it looks like the entire WWE library of pay-per-views is on Netflix now. Now, I don't think, and Tunney, correct me if I'm wrong, I did not see any WCW events on there. They may be hidden on there somewhere. I don't know that for sure. But this is a pretty big development. Netflix quietly swooped in, and there's other people. I think DJ had sent me something indicating that they had cut some deal with Netflix to extend the library and all that sort of stuff and extend the deal that they had. But that's a pretty big development that WWE did not tell anybody about. Anybody want to comment on this pretty big development in the status of the classic library or just the content library for WWE? I open it up to any of you fellas.
I think the entirety of the WrestleMania and Royal Rumble are on here as of now. I don't know that
It's
they're
a few
all.
more.
Is
There's
there
a
a
few
few
more.
other ones as well?
Yeah.
That's kind of
Survivor
what we've seen.
Series is there.
Elimination Chamber.
And then if you go through, there's a lot of the Attitude Era and Attitude of Aggression era as well. There's a thread for each of those, all the PLEs or pay-per-views. So yeah, I mean, it's just boggling to us why they didn't talk about it.
Go ahead, Kenny.
Yeah, this is interesting for you guys because obviously, like, they said for us over here, it's been like that for a while. Literally everything is on Netflix and under a pay-per-view banner. So whether it's WrestleMania and it goes all the way back via years and episodes, NXT, Raw, SmackDown. So literally everything, Saturday Night's Main Event, everything is all on Netflix. The only thing, like you said, WCW has its own. In the UK anyway, I don't know if it's the same in America, but WCW has its own channel now on YouTube. So you can do that, and then it's got WWE have Vault as well. So on Netflix over here, there's WWE Vault, so you can watch like all of the Attitude Era Raw, like all of the Raws from the beginning, all of the SmackDowns from the beginning, all the NXTs, all the early NXTs from the beginning under WWE Vault on Netflix. So yeah, I don't know why I kind of took my eye off the ball when it came to this, what's happening for you guys over there. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised that happened without any kind of mention for you guys, like where we got a massive kind of rollout, so we knew what was going to happen.
I'm glad you mentioned that, by the way, because to your point, Dave, it's just main roster WWE. All the NXT stuff and Saturday Night's Main Event is still on Peacock. And
through
like
March.
Kenny said they have been rolling out a lot of stuff on those YouTube channels that apparently they're very happy with. They've been getting a lot of traction on them. That was what the thought was going to be originally, that because they're making millions like they could for YouTube. No, but they're making enough money where it's for just stuff that's just sitting there. And YouTube is the biggest platform in the world. So
right. They may actually just kind of go along and do some sort of way where they do roll some of this out on YouTube as well, because not everybody has Netflix. But yeah, Tony, I was looking around in there and other than the WCW stuff, I was finding just about anything that they done in there, so it really feels like they just migrated everything straight from the cock over to Netflix. And like you said, it's shocking to me that they didn't mention any of this stuff, that they just kept this so quiet. And people just kind of stumbled onto it on their own. So for any of you guys watching at home in the live stream, there you go. If you're looking for the WWE's catalog that is no longer on Peacock, go to Netflix. Now, Netflix does need to have a dedicated WWE hub like Peacock did. That would make life a lot easier, because the only way you can find it now is actually search for the event by name. That's not very fun.
But
that's
they don't
not
have
very
any
beautiful.
hubs at all. That'll be their first. I don't think they changed their website for it.
No, they're not going to. They should, but they're not going to, Ray. You're right about that.
On the app, they do. On the app, you can filter it to just WWE. They have that now.
Can you? Okay.
But I don't know if you can do it on the. Yeah.
They've always had the filter, so yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
Yeah. Otherwise, yeah, looks like so far the categories aren't put together very properly once you do get to that filter WWE, not just by like pay-per-views or Raws or whatever. They kind of got it mixed match categories so far.
Well, I think
let's see what happens.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
I
Rob.
mean, with the old stuff, like the WCW stuff, nobody's getting a subscription to any service to watch that. So, or some of that, territory stuff or whatever. So they're probably going to put all that on YouTube because I think in the long run, there's more money just getting the YouTube clicks and the YouTube ad money or whatever than trying to, get people to subscribe to some other service, to watch that stuff too.
Yeah, as much as we all love the WWE Network, it showed them very clearly that there's not a market for people to want to pay for that
For the old stuff.
specifically.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they got 3.44 million subscribers and 2.3 thousand videos on the vault right now on YouTube in USA. So
Yeah.
they're making
And
money off of that. A lot of
And
money.
I get them,
I think a lot of money on
and I get
YouTube.
them, yeah. And I get them diversifying and spreading the wealth. ESPN gets the PLEs, and Netflix gets Raw and gets the library, and Peacock gets NXT and Saturday Night's Main Event, and YouTube
And your
gets all this stuff
customers continue
splattered.
to pay more and more to go to live events and have to buy more and more subscriptions to basically follow along with all of your storylines. So
Yeah,
the only
not
people
this year.
taking it in the where is the fans. Good for us.
Not this year. I do not think I'm paying WrestleMania prices to go back to Vegas this year. I might just stay at home for that. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. All right, let's get into it. And before we get into our unsanctioned category, I do feel that we need to make a little bit of a public service announcement because we are live streaming, and right now there's 16 people trickling in and that sort of thing. If any of you people who are watching happen to be female, let me say before we get to our unsanctioned category, we are not a bunch of misogynistic assholes here, okay? We are, all of us, as far as I know, all of us are straight men, and we all appreciate the female form. This category was originated by the former co-host of the Attitude of Aggression podcast, our good friend Old Gator. Although Old Gator stepped away from this due to a variety of reasons, we kind of kept this going to honor him. So before we get into this, for any of the ladies out there, please do not be offended by this. We mean this with nothing but the utmost respect to the women out there.
I think plenty of ladies appreciate it as well, Dave.
They probably do. And I mean, this is not some sort of, like I said, we're not trying to be misogynistic here. This is just where it is. So
I think you should pull the Band-Aid off.
We need the New Jack ticker
Disclaimer.
tape underneath.
Yeah. The disclaimer.
Or the Pat Mac. The Pat Mac. This
Yeah.
program is intended to be funny. Don't sue
Yeah,
us.
the contents of this first category are not necessarily authorized by anybody other than us. So, Anyway, with that being said, it is our unsanctioned category. This tradition, it is time for Dad Ass of the Year. And Ray's just shaking his head. So, I'll go first. I will kick this thing off. And because I'll take the bullet, guys. Fuck it. I'm going to
It's your
give
show,
this
you
award.
should.
I thank you. You know what, Ray? You're right. Cristobal would approve. I'm going to give this award this year to Those Hips Don't Lie, and neither does Dad Ass. I'm giving this to Lola Vice this year. So I'm just going in that direction. That ass became kind of a gimmick of hers, the hips and all that kind of thing. It was used as a means to win matches and get her a few title shots. Now, she never broke through this year, and that's okay. But I look at it, the whole package of what she did with that particular body part. I'm going with Lola on this one this year, man. So that's my pick for Dad Ass of the year. Ray, you can talk, or if you're going to be above board and
No, I'm
be
ready.
like, okay, all right. I was going to say, I didn't know if you
I'm
wanted
ready.
to abstain and avoid any sort of backlash that you were not going to get anyway.
We here now, my boy. We here now. It is what it is.
Go ahead, man.
First off, let me say, I think
If you haven't dropped off the call, you are already in on it. You are complicit.
Yes.
That's right. Our numbers
Train's
are
already
probably
left the station, brothers.
Our numbers are
This is why
probably.
This is why my grandma would never let me go places when I was little, because she'd be like, "You going up in the car and somebody go steal something, and you going to jail." Damn, I can't go to the store. Damn. First off, I think we all should unanimously induct Bailey and Naomi into the Dad Ass Hall of Fame, because we can't keep picking them. We
That's
can't.
true. That's
It's been
why
a
I didn't go
decade
in
of
that.
Dad
I
Ass.
didn't go in
Okay.
a decade of that ass. That was last year. Ray.
So to your point, well, what is it? Once de Dad Ass, once de culo. Speaking of that,
Speaking Spanish,
it is
something
this
about
year.
lemon asses. I don't know.
The culo of the year. You picked a beautiful Latina, but how was it not Stephanie Vaquer? It's Stephanie Vaquer, bro. Booker T and the got so over that they hold signs when she does the devil's kiss. By the way, she is your current world champion. Now, she's one of the best wrestlers in the world, but her detractors will say she has one move. What is that move, Dave?
Devil's Kiss. She's so much more than that, though. But I will say this,
She
Ray,
is.
she's very similar to Lola Vice. She used that asset, see what I did there, Tunney, to maximum advantage. And it has become part of her moveset and her gimmick. So I think Stephanie Vacour is a great pick, Ray. I have zero qualms about that. Rob, you going to jump in on this thing, or are you going to abstain and be
No,
upboard and a law-abiding citizen?
I'm going to get myself into a unique set of trouble here.
Nice.
Okay,
Is there any other kind?
Instead of that ass, I'm going to go with Rack of the Year.
Get the year.
What is it?
Go
Bangle
ahead,
the
Rick.
Buck?
Go ahead, Rob.
Okay, and I actually have a tie. It's a tie. Okay.
There's two of them.
Just in, Rob wants to be in a sandwich.
Hey, Marge, guess how many boobs I see?
They are a pair. They usually are a pair.
So yeah. So one is our current women's U.S. champion Chelsea Green,
Yeah.
and the other is the newly crowned TBS champion Will Nightingale.
Hey,
Yeah.
shout out to DC.
I can respect that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all I can say about that. Those are good calls.
Guess how many boobs I saw today, Marge? 15.
Thank you, DP.
Man,
That's
Well-
coming from your soundboard, right, Dan? That's you're playing that,
That's me.
right? Or is that Tunney?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm sending you this sound clip then.
Dan won't fix my sword.
Tunney, while I'm sending Dan this sound clip that I want to play, who are you picking
Need a
in this
weekend of
category?
booze and a hangout for the thing to fix that one. I don't know what
I'll
that
be over tomorrow.
There you go.
Yeah, I would, like, and on the opposite spectrum of Bailey and Naomi would be like Becky and Charlotte, right? Anyway, I would have to agree. I'd have to agree with Ray and give it to the Care Bear. She's been on fire this year, and yeah, Booker T is like getting himself into trouble nightly with Charmel, I would say.
You know what, man? You're probably right about that. I like the pick. I think Stephanie Vacour is a great pick. I can't disagree. Tunney, or excuse not Tunney. Dan, what do you got in this category?
So I went a little differently, I guess, but sometimes you don't remember it. You miss it when it's gone, and when it returns, boy, it just really gets you. And that's Nikki Bella. Like, boy, you didn't think you missed it, and then there she is again. And oh boy, just the entrance and all. I'm not going to complain.
Just when she's single, you go and get married again.
Damn it.
Ah, here goes my chance.
Nikki Bella, that's a good pick as well. Yeah. Sometimes you don't know what you got till it's gone, right? AJ, what do you got in this category, man? I know you're not going to be Mr. Mormon and be pristine about this, so just steer into the skid,
God,
buddy.
no. I will say, and I know she's an earshot of hearing this, Ray, I do agree with the Hall of Fame inductions, because you even got my missus calling her Big Booty Pam because sometimes she forgets the name Bailey.
Hey, and for the record, y'all can't put that on me no more because Naya put that it is canon on television.
I know we can't.
So,
but we still say it. I do
Yeah.
blame you, but
it is my
Naya
fault. I
did
get
say it.
Yeah.
But
That's the real
will,
Triple B, NJF. Sorry, that's the real Triple B.
but I will not go with her because that just feels like cheating as the title maker of last year's title of Decade of Dad Ass. I'm not gonna say Bailey. I'm not gonna say Naomi, but I have to agree with the majority here and say it's got to be Stephanie Vaquer. The Devil's Kiss is literally, you're just showing that off. And Booker T with that, come on, it's addicting. He is probably sleeping on the couch every single time he watches Monday Night Raw. You know it for a fact, because she's not on NXT anymore. But it has to be Stephanie. I got to give it to our women's world champion, because it's a prominent thing that she uses. It is her signature move.
You guys are almost convincing me on this whole thing, but I still like my pick. Kenny, what do you got here, man? I know we're, this is a category I know you have deep appreciation for. So, what do you got here?
Well, last year I did Lola, but a couple people gave her a run for her money this year. Jada running close. Then all of a sudden, Lash Legend decided to show up. I'm like, but yeah, I gotta give it to
Last Legend
that.
honorable mention. Good call, Kenny.
I got to give it to that Chilean Kulo, man, because, geez, Yeah, ain't nothing like it. That double kiss, there you go. And then the fact that she went on to Sheamus's workouts and showed people how to break it down. Hey, that's it. So it's Stephanie Vaquer, man. Enough said.
I think we need to she's the newest inductee of Dead Ass.
Might be. I mean, it's damn near unanimous.
That's it's not unanimous, but it's pretty close. So maybe that's a sign of things to come for the rest of the Swaggies. I kind of doubt it. But anyway, that is our unsanctioned category. Hopefully we did not scare everybody away with that whole thing, even though Rob just kind of switched things up on us and went in a completely different direction, but that's okay. Good job, guys, all the way
It was a
around.
good drop. It was a
All
good
right.
one.
It was.
We'll go with the rack attack.
I like that he keeps us guessing. That's for sure. All right, let us get into.
I said Tatum Paxley last year.
For the record, massively underrated.
Who?
Tatum. In fact, you want to talk underrated? Harley Cameron.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is true. All right, man. Let's get into the real categories now. So we are going to kick this off with our gimmick match of the year. And the one and only Raymond S. Cashington Esquire, the original, because I can't make up all those fucking numbers that Patrick makes up. Ray, what is your gimmick match of the year for 2025?
So there's a lot of them. I loved both the TLC matches with all the tag teams, the Profits and the Guns and all that. But I'm going to pick this because I'm not going to pick for match of the year. A lot of people, I'm assuming, are. I'm going to pick Cody versus Cena at SummerSlam, the street fight. It's not often that you get a guy that's been the litmus test for the business for 25 years. And then his last year is like third to last match, maybe half his best match ever. But that match against Cody was really, really good. Just one of the best. And with the story added and almost not only a continued love letter to all the people he's wrestled before, but kind of a storyline mulligan for the storytelling that was in the WrestleMania match. You can't ask for more, man. That was one of the top 5 matches of the year, and just to know what they were able to do. And not often, I can't watch a Cena match and get into the whole, will he lose, will he won't? Because it's gonna be like 17 AAs. Cody has about 45 crossroads. But to get me in one of their matches, shocked, and yeah, they got me. Give it to them. That's my choice.
That's a really good call. And that may show up a little bit later on in a couple of categories for all we know.
I'm sure it will. That's why I got it out the way now.
Yeah. Yeah. Rob, what do you got? What is your gimmick match of the year, man?
Oh, so I narrowed it down to 2. The TLC match at SummerSlam and the Anarchy in the Arena match. But I decided to go with the TLC match at SummerSlam. Because the fact that, in the same year, we had the final table match at Bound for Glory with the Dudleys and the Hardys. So to me and the Hardys were actually in the building at SummerSlam. So to me that,
That's
those kind
right.
of things make that
think
a little bit more
Dudleys
special
were
this
too.
year.
And add the Dudleys were actually at ringside, and both of them were.
That's right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Add to that, Rob, the fact that they got screwed out of the WrestleMania match, had a TLC match on the SmackDown after WrestleMania.
Should have been
on
the WrestleMania card.
They suddenly got screwed out of the match, yeah. And then to have it come back with 6 of them at SummerSlam, yeah, I'm with you.
So that's another great call there. I can't add on anything you guys already added on. Tunney, what do you got in this category?
Oh, let me tell you all a little story.
Boy.
So there's this gentleman who hasn't wrestled in a while named Kevin Owens. And the last time he wrestled, it was an unsanctioned match against Sami Zayn, which was fucking fantastic. But let's talk about the future. Who should win the Royal Rumble? I think it's Sami Zayn. I think Sami Zayn should win the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania at the end of night 1. And I think Kevin Owens should come out and congratulate him.
God.
And then
powerbomb his ass on the fucking apron again. Let's go! By Tunney. So the unsanctioned match, barbed wire, chairs, everything. It was a great match. Elimination Chamber. Go back and watch it.
That was awesome. That was an awesome match. And it's one of the ones I considered as well. But yeah, Kevin Owens, and I mean, that was good stuff. I totally agree with that, Tunney. DP, what do you got in this category? What is your gimmick match of the year, my man?
I thought PC was going to take mine because he started with KO. And I'm like, here we go. It's KO and Cody Rhodes ladder match at Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
But that was definitely a close second. But yeah, I loved that Cody Rhodes KO match. just
That was
because of
the-
the emotion that they had.
Was the Winged Eagle? Was that with the Winged Eagle?
It
That
was
was
the
with the
Winged
Winged
Eagle.
Eagle. Yeah,
Yep,
KO
yep.
brought the Winged Eagle back.
Yeah.
That was just that
Awesome match.
part of it too just added to that ambiance of it. And it was just so fun and looked really brutal. And you just you saw that other side of Cody where they're, when they were ready to turn him heel, he's got that heel side to him kind of thing.
It was probably the match that really went farther than anything as far as putting Kevin Owens on the shelf. I mean, he was already hurt to begin with, but that one nasty spot through the ladder probably did not help at all.
Ooh.
But yeah, that's another one that I thought of, and that's a great call. AJ, what do you got in this one, man?
Since we're tiptoeing around the beginning of the year, for me, in all honesty, the gimmick match of the year, well, there was a lead up to it. Royal Rumble, John Cena goes runner up to Jey Uso. Cena then afterwards on the press conference says, I'm going to be in the Elimination Chamber. That is my right. And it kind of showed the crack of being a heel. And for me, the Elimination Chamber match was the gimmick match of the year. It spotlighted everything. You had Punk versus Cena. You had Seth Rollins continuing his feud with Punk during an escape. A curb stomp happened, and Cena uncharacteristically takes it. He takes the give me and everything. It culminated into something else later that I will say, but for me, it was the Elimination Chamber where it was kind of the fuel to the fire of the rest of the year.
Hold that thought. That's all I'll say. Kenny, what do you got in this category, man?
So yeah, like you said, there's a few that I could have gone with this year. Again, the women's Iron Survivor match just killed it this year, and that was going to be my choice actually, because of one of the other categories that I could have potentially put what happened in this match in, which actually doesn't match up. I'm going to use it for this gimmick match of the year, and I'm going to go close with AJ on this. So I'm going to go with the women's Elimination Chamber match. And that's because, again, of the story being told with that. We've been waiting for ages to figure out the whodunit on Jade. And then the way that they did that during the match at the beginning of the match just kind of took us off guard. The way they shot it, Liv being involved, Bianca in the pod, and then Jade comes out and just kind of just cracks Naomi in the face and just kicks the shit out of her. I just thought that was just great. And then you had Bianca just on one all, for the rest of the match, just upset. And it kind of played into the match and in the finish. And then obviously Bianca won and went on to WrestleMania. And then she went on and did her thing with Rhea and Io. So for me, it's the women's Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah, that's a great call. I went with I'm in lockstep with AJ on this one. I got the men's Elimination Chamber match as my gimmick match of the year, and a lot of the reasons he said. You had the inklings of a heel turn, but not really. But I think the same thing that the stuff with Seth and Punk at the end of this whole thing, and just the roster of talent in that match involved, and just the stuff at the end where Seth gets eliminated, stomps on Punk, and as Cena's choking him out with the STFU, or the STF, whatever you want to call it, Seth just looking at him in his face, I want you to die, and all this sort of stuff. And it is just excellent storytelling to the maximum degree. It was a great match to begin with. I love your call, Kenny, especially with Jade coming out there and just beating the holy hell out of Naomi. And Elimination Chamber itself was just a damn good card. I'm sure that might get some consideration for a category coming up in a little while. All right, good stuff all the way around, man. Some great matches there for Gimmick Match of the Year. Now we move into our storyline of the year. And we're going to kick this off with the one and only Rob Bonette. Rob, what is your storyline of the year for 2025, man?
Okay, well, I went storyline, not feud. I'm sorry. Storyline for me was Hangman Page winning the AEW World Title.
Right.
Are you fucking kidding me, Rob? This
Yes,
should have been unanimous, Rob. You
No,
fucked the
I'm
whole
not
thing. You fucking fucked the whole thing up right at the start. Like, we're teeing off, and you're like, I'm not even going to put it on the tee. I'm going to just throw it right into the fucking woods.
Go ahead, Rob. You can feel Tunney's frustration here, but go ahead.
Well, look, okay, he won the Owen Hart tournament, and then the whole thing with him and Swerve hashing out their differences, over the course of several weeks, and then they finally get to the match, and the way everybody came in to fend off all the Death Riders and everything, and I thought, look, I don't think there were really that many good storylines this year. There were a few, but I mean, out of the ones that I thought were actually out of these storylines that I thought were good, I thought that was the best one.
Well,
If there's anything to give Rob credit for, it was a fucking year long.
it's true. Look, it's a good story. You got to understand there's a little bit of an anti-AEW bias amongst many of us. So, but I appreciate that, Rob, that you got AEW in here for the people watching who may be AEW fans. And if you're watching on YouTube and you want to send us your own picks for this stuff, drop that in the chat. We'll see that. I know on X that doesn't necessarily transfer the chat stuff over to what we've got here in studio, but Tunney usually monitors that, and he'll probably let me know if somebody's piped in. So, Tunney, you expressed your
want to thank J-Pal for tuning in, I believe, as well. Go ahead.
cool. Whoever's tuning in, great, man. Drop us a line, say you're watching, and let us know what you think. You expressed extreme frustration at Rob's pick, so why don't you give us?
Make him go last.
No, I'll let Tunney. It's easier for me if I just go
Breaking
in order
news
here on the screen.
No, I'm just kidding.
Go ahead, Tunney. What is your pick?
Well, I mean, since there was only 1 year-long storyline, Rob. No, there wasn't! John Cena fucking retired the whole fucking year. That's the storyline of the fucking year. Period. End of story.
Well, the ending fucking sucked, okay?
I don't disagree, all right? God damn it.
DP, I'm sure we're going to talk more about Tunney's pick in a moment. What's your pick in this category?
If you want to save that discussion for after everybody else's pick, I am also on Cena's retirement as the storyline of the year. So I can expound, or if you want to continue. And
Well, I tell you what, let's continue and see if we get some differing opinions here. AJ, what about you, man? What's your storyline of the year?
Unfortunately, it is a DWI sweep. It is Road to Retirement.
Kitty, hold that thought. Kitty, I'll go to you.
Yeah, mine is also the Cena retirement. I mean, they set it up for the whole year, man. Like, we were all going to be invested in this thing to the end. So no matter what the bumps in the road were, but yeah, it's I'm with you guys. This last time is now.
I'm gonna assume by Ray's reaction, his is also the "You Can't See Me" final tour.
Jonathan Felix Anthony Cena Jr.
And I will say this, mine is the John Cena retirement tour as well. So Rob is the one outlier
Don't know
here.
what my boy thinking, man.
Rob shit in the punch bowl.
Look, I'll say this before I turn it over to you guys, is that the John Cena retirement tour was the big story, I thought, of the entire year. It was the most high-profile story. It had the most ebbs and flows. And yeah, some of it didn't land. There's no doubt about that. Some of it was better than others. There's similarly no doubt about that. But nothing matched that as far as impact upon not just the wrestling world, but like pop culture, sports entertainment.
No, Rob,
nothing
you
came
can't
close.
change it now, Rob.
I'm not changing
No,
it. I'm
just
just
sit in it. Just
I
sit there in it. Just sit in it.
Rob's
Sit a little wiggle. You get a little deeper.
No,
Just
I'm
sit
not
there.
changing it. I wanted to add some context, okay?
I will say I do
Don't
like
We
make it
don't
Rob's
need to
pick
talk about
because it
Hangman
worked.
Page any more than you already did, buddy.
Don't make
Look,
it work,
okay.
my boy.
Okay, if we're talking about the biggest, most important storyline of the year, then yes, it is the Cena one, okay? But I made my vote based on what I thought was the best one.
Which is fair, because I'm
He's
not gonna
fair.
lie. For
Next
me,
year.
I
That is
We'll
forgot
be
fair.
back next year.
majority of the storylines.
It's
That's a good one.
I'll be
I'm not
honest,
gonna
Rob.
deny
It makes for a much better, more fun segment that you
It
just
does.
did that. So no
It
big
does.
deal.
it is
Even AEW
Rob's,
thinks it's John Cena. Edge and everybody was shit.
it is
What are you
Rob's-
talking about?
I'm getting a call from Tony Khan. What's that? Yeah,
Ready?
Rob's a dumbass. Okay, got it.
Yeah, Rob protected you, Tony. No, it's Rob's pick. Whatever he thinks is the right call is his pick, even if it's wrong.
love you,
but that's
Rob.
all
We're just
right.
giving you
So
shit.
it's now. Look, the Hangman Adam Page storyline is a very good story, and I think if most of us were more into AEW than we are, that probably would have warranted some further consideration. But yeah, I mean, hey, it's John Cena, and you can't see a unanimous category because it didn't happen here.
You putting a lot of faith in the one match, bro, because that Death Rider story has been pretty bad.
Well, that's why I said the Hangman Page part of it. That includes him and Swerve hashing out the differences, okay? Yes, I didn't say the Death Riders. The Death Riders part sucked, okay?
Yeah,
It did. I'm not denying that.
That was the whole point.
that's part. I think that's part of the storyline too. Like the
You're
whole John Cena
right.
retirement part is there was parts that sucked. And
Well,
that's,
thank you.
one for my other categories, but it got people talked about it. It was all over the place. It was still part of that storyline of how it went up and down, and there was different parts to it and different feuds that went along with it. It's just like, yeah, the heel turn was shitty, but people were all over that thing and talking about it all over
the thing
place
about
too.
it is
So it wasn't
John's
it wasn't as bad, but John Cena being John Cena and the fact that he's the GOAT, can make it work. And that's what everybody's talking about all year.
Here's why it's the storyline of the year and maybe one of the greatest storylines ever is because John Cena turned his career from baseball into basketball or football. Whereas baseball is a completely untimed sport. It can last fucking 95 hours and still only go 9 innings. Basketball and football are only going to go so long. And we knew John Cena was only going to go so long. You can compare it to Ric Flair if you want, but we didn't know when Ric Flair's was going to end. Technically, he was going to go until he lost. This was, at the end of this year, this is it from the only guy we will believe that is actually fucking done. If anybody else retired today and told you they're never going to wrestle again, would you believe them more than you believe John Cena saying he'll never wrestle again? I don't think so.
Not. I just want to give a big shout out and thank you to Booker T for deciding to host a live stream with an exclusive interview with Shawn Michaels at the same time we're doing this. Thanks, Booker. Appreciate your support.
Programming.
Yeah, it's like WWE, that sort of thing.
We even gave you a shout out with the
I gotta
Devil's
leave
Kiss.
in 5 minutes, by the way, to do another show.
Is there a way you can just stream that through this?
Yeah, it's a good idea. But that'll work. All right. We're going to move on to Baby Face of the Year, which I think was a tough category for me because not too many of the faces really stood out this year. But I don't know. We'll see. Tunney, what do you got in this category, man? I'll kick it off with you.
I think this is probably the toughest one.
It was really hard.
It's so hard with the babyface thing now. I mean, really, there's someone I want to put there, but I'm not going to because I'm gonna give her an award later on here in the show. So I'm gonna do something surprising, and I'll give it to Lyra. Lyra's been a complete and total face the entire time she's been there, despite having struggles with Bayley going one way or the other, working for the IC title, being in and out of that picture, working with Becky. I'll give it to her. I'm thinking of people who are legit 100% just straight white meat babyface, and she's completely good. There's nothing bad about her.
That's a good call. I mean, she is pretty much somebody who could probably benefit from a heel turn is Lyra Valkyria. But I think as far as this last year, she's a good pick.
There's the two people that I could also put in this category are one of them's going to win comeback and one of them's going to win breakout. So it's kind of spreading the wealth here.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see what we come up with. DP, what do you got? Who's your baby face of the year, man?
Because I wanted it to sweep every single category, but I couldn't do it. But because the last time is now, I'm going to give it to John Cena. And one of the reasons is because that heel turn wasn't so great. When he made the turn back and that the entrance change, that whole bit, everybody went crazy for Cena. And I think part of it too, knowing it's the last time they're going to see him and all that kind of stuff, probably helped. Obviously, as much as everybody wanted to see him be a heel, everybody wanted to cheer the fuck out of him. And they got that opportunity in the last half of the year. And I thought, for me, it wasn't all year, but when he was playing babyface on that end run was just fantastic.
Yeah, the back half where he turns back, like you're saying, that when that at SummerSlam where that screen goes back from black and white to the full color, people lost their fucking minds, man. And it was, I mean, that's going to warrant obviously consideration for moment of the year. I would imagine that's on part 2. We're not doing that here today, but yeah, that's a great pick, man. Cena's a little bit complicated with all that, but I think that's a solid pick, AJ, what do you got, man? Who's your face of the year?
I do like the John Cena pick, and if you listen to the DWI podcast, I know I haven't been on it because of work and everything else, but we know how I feel about Lyra. She's a great wrestler. Just something about her doesn't click to me. So for my pick, I'm going to give some visual representation since we are live. I'm going to drink my Wheatley vodka and say it is the good old American Nightmare because he has been a babyface all year. He is basically the new face of WWE. Cheers to the American Nightmare, good old Cody Rhodes.
Somehow find a way to promote wrestling with booze. They were one of the first to buy the bubbly of Le Champion back on Pot is War. Now AJ's bringing Wheatley onto Attitude of Aggression. Just well done, Balaz. Well done.
I dig it.
And if you really want to know about that bubbly, that was the first time I ever showed up on a podcast. But it has to be Cody just because he's been the face, he's been the baby face all year. Granted, yes, some of us are kind of booing Cody because it's all right, this is a whole new it's Cena all over again, and we're waiting for the heel turn. But he has been the, I guess, patriotic because of the American stuff, American Nightmare. He's showing his face. He is the face that now runs the place since we no longer have the face that runs the place.
Cody is like the quintessential baby face, I mean, and there's some shades of gray starting to creep up, but as far as like you're saying, AJ, the face that runs the place, the flag bearer, QB1, it's Cody Rhodes. I mean, it's not my pick, but I'll just say I think that's an excellent call. Can't disagree with that. And yeah, somebody who knows all about the attitude of aggression being all about drunk podcasting is the one and only Kinny Killa, because he was with us for a few of those. Kitty, what do you got? Who's your baby face of the year?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's a tough year. And, I didn't watch AEW all that much this year, but when I did, there was two people that were always kind of highlighted a lot. One of them is probably one of the whitest meat baby faces in that company. Not going to pick her, but I would have said Willow if I did watch, all year. Yeah, it could have been, Cody, Devontae, Raheem Rhodes, but I've gone with someone who literally has done all the babyface work the whole year, like coming to the aid of people every time, literally having a feud about being a babyface and not turning over to the dark side. My pick is going to be Sami Zayn. Literally, this guy has been backing up every single person tag team like all year, and then he did a classic Survivor Series bloody thing on SmackDown with all the other baby faces. So yeah, it's Sami Zayn for me.
Yeah, I love that call. And Sammy's got staying power. I mean, his popularity isn't really waning all that much since what he did with the Bloodline and the match against Roman. And Tunney may be right. He may be the inside favorite to win the Rumble and go on to WrestleMania. I don't know. We'll see, because I think we all have our ideas about what might be happening at WrestleMania. For me, my baby face of the year, like I said at the outset, this is a tough one because there's people who had stretches where they were great baby faces. Like Jey Uso is somebody who comes roaring to mind as somebody super popular who got over. But man, after he dropped that world title to Gunther, he just dropped off. My pick because of that is Io Sky. And I'm going with Io because she was exactly
call,
AJ's doing the whole thing. And I think when she beat Rhea for the championship right before WrestleMania, so many of us were like, what the fuck are they doing? We had Bianca versus Rhea set up for the WrestleMania main event that so many of us wanted for so long. Like, why are they injecting Io Sky into this thing? She won over everybody, right? I mean, because she was such a great babyface and she had that gimmick and she just endeared herself. She won over everybody to the point that she won that amazing match at WrestleMania 41. She, it wasn't until she was cashed in on at Evolution that she even lost the title. She's maintained that popularity with Rhea in their battles against the Kabuki Warriors. I'm looking at the whole total package, her success in the ring and everything about her. Yeah, Io Sky is my face of the year, guys.
Did you say the total package?
No, he didn't.
He did?
I thought he did.
Well,
I did.
No.
Ray, can you tell me about...
You know what I thought I heard? I thought I heard the total package.
Ray, can you tell me about the total package and maybe your baby face of the year?
I'm still making you pay me for these drops, okay? Start making you pay me.
When I start making money, Ray, you'll start making money, buddy.
Apparently, Tunney just wants to be a narcissist, as Bobby Heenan would say.
A narcissist, yes. Well, Bobby Heenan, much like Io Sky, both have the total package. That's it. Done. My baby face of the year, completely out of left field. All of y'all have had great choices. All of y'all. And shout out to Hangman Page, who I was about to pick.
No, I'm not.
But all of y'all have had great choices. I chose someone that is not as big as anybody you have chosen, as popular as anybody you've chosen, but the one guy I have pulled for harder and stronger than anybody all year. Out to AJ, I chose Mike Santana.
Oh, okay.
He was on my list. Yeah.
I didn't know if you were going to go Santana or say his name and he appears.
Well, I guess he's gonna pop on the damn podcast because no, we didn't say his name. Okay,
no, I didn't say his name. I said the line.
Yes, but
Joe
no,
Hendry's boring, but you can keep going.
God damn it, Tunney! Now he's
Tunney
gonna show
fucks
up.
up the bit
No, he's not.
again.
He's boring.
Mike Santana. That Mike Santana literally held in his hands my fandom of TNA twice. The first time when he lost to Trick when he came through the crowd in New York and he lost, I said fuck TNA. They gave him the run back around again when he finally did win. That was the Hardy's the final table match. Gave it one
Bound
more
for
shot.
Glory, yes.
Mind you, I bought these shows, spent my monties or
I
my
booked the Bound for
euros
Glory.
or my
You got
two there
euros?
or my
You got
euros,
your
as my good friend Kenny would spend, and to watch these shows. And I know moments next show it may not win, but there is no more emotional moment for me all year than him kneeling on the ground and handing his daughter the title. And as a single father with 4 girls, nothing touched me more than that. Mike Santana has made me a believer. That's the babyface of the year.
I like that pick a lot, Ray. That's very well reasoned. Rob, go ahead and tell us why Hangman Page is your babyface of the year.
Oh no, actually,
Cowboy shit, huh?
no,
Cowboy
actually,
shit.
okay, no, actually, I'm going with Ray.
Buckshot lariat.
No, I'm going with Ray with Mike Santana.
Let's go.
And being in the building, like that whole thing Ray talked about, is even bigger watching it in the building.
Bet.
I mean,
Bet.
and and just just watching the whole journey through the year, and the fact that dude, like, nobody had him going this far when he went over there. Like, you want to talk about betting on yourself? That is betting on yourself. Nobody had him figured for that. He was going to do all of that. Okay. I mean, and he could have just stayed with Ortiz and been tag teaming forever and just cashed the checks. Tony.
Millionaires for the rest of their life, yeah.
But no, he did the epitome of betting on yourself, and look what he did.
Speaking of that, Ortiz just came back after 2 years, and Mike Santana is world champion.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, like you guys are saying, Santana went through all that proud and powerful bullshit and came out on the other side, and like Ortiz is like, who? It's
No diss.
Rivers just
Go
came
get
back
your money.
after 5 years.
No diss. Go get your money, young man. But that boy Santana knew he was built for bigger and better things. And respect to the very interesting man that Tunney's a hater of, Mike Santana put TNA on his back in a way that I haven't seen done since the Joe AJ years. Like, that man lived.
I can agree with that.
TNA.
I will give a big shout to our friend, good old Mr. Velvet Pipes, Christopher Platt. I could smoke a bag of that.
There could possibly be a platypus run in here at some point. We'll see.
He'll show up right as we're finishing.
Assuming that his microphone works, unlike DWI 500.
It won't, but that's beside the point. Let's move on to a category that I suspect will be a little bit easier than Babyface of the Year. It is our Heel of the Year. And to kick this one off, we're going to the scientist himself, DPP. And what is your Heel of the Year? Who is your Heel of the Year? I shouldn't say what. That would indicate an inanimate object.
What?
But who is your Heel of the
Could be.
Year?
What?
I went with, do we call him the new dirtiest player in the game? Dirty Dom Mysterio.
El Sucio.
The guy continues to kill it. I don't know if he would have been my heel last year as well if I would have been able to make it to the show. He is just everywhere you go, he's just killing it. Continues with Liv now that she's back too. Like, them two together have just been fantastic as heels. Despite the reaction he got, was it WrestleMania when he won the IC
Mania
title?
41 intercontinental title.
But him holding on to that for a while, when WWE bought AAA and they threw him over there for a while too, and holding the AAA mega title, just continues to kill it as a heel and gets booed out of the building every time. He's just fantastic to watch. When he first got into WWE full time, and it was like, God, this guy's the shits. He has really found his place and has really turned himself on and is just phenomenal as a character.
Yeah, everything you just said. Hold that thought. AJ, what do you got? Who's your Heel of the Year?
I don't know if I'm going to be the turd in the punch bowl here, or if people are going to be agreeing with me on this one. It's not AEW. It's not TNA even. It's not even a wrestler. It is the Advocate. It is the Wise Man. It is Paul Heyman, because I probably talked about it last year for Decade of Dad Ass, where Dom turned double heel, which we all said the same thing. Dom got more heated betraying Rhea than he did when he joined Liv. But Paul Heyman was with Roman, came out in WrestleMania Night 1 with CM Punk, and going to the what is your Heel of the Year, low blowing both CM Punk and Roman Reigns replicating the chair shot heard round the world with the Shield breakup and following that to everything that the Vision is going towards. Granted, yes, we don't have Seth Rollins anymore because he got hurt, but he's still the slimiest, dirtiest, most annoying asshole in all of professional wrestling right now. It has to be Paul E. Dangerously Paul Heyman.
That is a really good call, especially thinking a little bit outside the box because it's not a wrestler. But yeah, what was that, like a triple turn in one match sort of thing? I mean, he just screwed over everybody except himself. So yeah, that's a great call, AJ. I like that one. Kenny, who's your heel of the year, man?
Oh, I like all your choices, man. And the Heyman shout. I don't know why I didn't think about him. But that's a shout. That is definitely a shout. I want to give a shout out to someone who won a world title outside his promotion. So I want to give a shout out to Trick Williams, Trick Willie Time, Trick and A. Let's talk about it. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to him.
Whoop that trick.
Literally went into TNA and was running roughshod. My heel of the year is going to be my boy Gunther. Now, the reason I picked Gunther is for a number of reasons. He, made Cena tap out, so that's one. Made Goldberg tap out. Literally made Michael Cole wet his pants to the point where Pat McAfee had to try and jump in and do something. Couldn't do shit and got fucked up. Chat shit, you get banned, as we like to say here in the UK. And yeah, I just think he's had a decent year as a heel, and he's been a heel the whole way through. Dom runs in close, but yeah, for me, it's good, man.
I dig that call a lot, especially since he's beaten Cena, and it hasn't been that long. It's only been a couple weeks, but his work since he beat Cena has been tremendous. Just,
the Raw after
give me
was
all
amazing.
The heat. Yeah, give me all the heat. Dump it on me. It just like says it like Cena tapped out like a little bitch. You could just see CM Punk just when he faces face to face with Gunther. It's like he really wants to fucking punch him in the face, that sort of thing. But it's a great call, Kenny. Gunther is absolutely a monster heel and gonna get even worse, I imagine, as we get to WrestleMania. For me, I'm with Dan on this one. It's Dominic Mysterio for me. And I'll say, the thing that convinced me on Dom was a couple things. Like Dan saying at WrestleMania 41, where I was there in Vegas, and I literally watched the crowd swing as that match went along. Like they hated Dom when he started. And then something happened during the match where everybody started to rally towards Dom's side. And he was cheered wildly by the end of that match when he won the title. Then he's got the press conference afterwards, where we're all outside of Allegiant Stadium. People are cheering wildly for Dominic Mysterio. It would have been so easy for Dom and for WWE to just go with that and flip him face. No, they went in the complete opposite direction, kept him as a heel, had him cheat, lie, and steal his way to the AAA title. When Cena beats him for the IC title to complete the Grand Slam, that was a big deal, mainly because, yeah, of course, John completing the Grand Slam was one thing, but it's who he did it against that really made a big difference to me. So I think, yeah, Dom he's a work in progress. His heel heat is evolutionary at this point. It's not like where he could never talk. People let him talk now because they want to hear what he has to say. His in-ring talent's getting better, lots better. And he's just becoming, is he the greatest luchador ever? No, not yet. But the guy's so young and so talented on the mic. Yeah, Eddie would be very proud. So I'm with Dan on this one. For me, it's Dominic Mysterio. With all due respect to Heyman and Gunther, I think are great picks. Ray, what do you got here, man?
All great picks. Respect to the three you guys chose. AJ's kind of on the same wavelength I'm at. I'm not going to pick Heyman, but the only two people that I just felt like I could have chose are married to each other. So I'm going to pick Seth Rollins. And Seth continues to be the most underappreciated person in maybe the history of professional wrestling.
What?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because everything that you want when you look at he's still in it, so it's kind of hard to give his legacy conversation yet so far, right? He's still in the midst of it. But when you look at these conversations we have about all these people that are done and over, the conversation about Terry, I'm not calling him his wrestling name. Conversation about Bruno, the conversation about Austin and Rock, and all these people. Now Cena. To have these conversations, Seth Rollins has all of those. On top of the fact that he might go down as one of the top 10 in-ring guys. He has all of these accolades. He has moments, more moments than most anybody has, right? He has everything you could ask for. And we continue to not even think about this dude when it comes to major situations.
He's Triple H.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Without a million title reigns and married to the boss's daughter.
No. I've been saying this for a long time, and
He's
I was
Macho
the first
Man.
one to say this.
He's Macho Man.
Roman and Seth are the modern day Hulk and Macho, and that's the biggest compliment I can give to them.
100%. 100%. Seth is down to the point where he dresses like Macho Man dressed. If Macho Man lived in 2025, he would be dressing like Seth dressed. But just think about
Can I tell a quick Macho Man story? I want to tell this is really quick. Shout out to Rib Shot. If you haven't been watching like Rib Shot on YouTube, it's hilarious. But so there's this one, Hulk's telling the story where Randy always had Hulk get his cars for him and stuff. Well, he wanted this Lamborghini or Ferrari or something, whatever, where the engine's in the back and the trunk's in the front. Well, he calls up Hulk and he's like, there's a huge problem. You got to come over. This is bullshit. This guy's screwing me over. So he comes over. He's like, what's wrong? He's like, my hat suitcase won't fit in the front trunk. You got to take it back.
Yep. But I just want to remind you a little bit of his year. The Royal Rumble, he stomped Roman's face into the ground so violently that we all were like, wait a minute, dog. That was personal. The whole build up to the
steps, it was on the
just into the ground.
Ring steps?
It was both feet.
Both feet, just in the ground.
Yeah.
The lead up to that triple threat match, he was the antagonist in the lead up to that triple threat match, goading both guys to do everything. He's the one that convinced Paul Heyman to turn on both his best friend and his tribal chief. Won the main event of WrestleMania, by the way. Going through the year, the fake out of all fake outs to pretend that I'm hurt, and then come back and have maybe one of the greatest moments in the history of professional wrestling with the reveal that he wasn't hurt. I mean, the man kayfabed his daughter's teachers. Come on, man. Seth had a year of all years. Don't forget about him because he got hurt in October.
He kayfabed the Rich Eisen show on that one, Ray. He came in with crutches and kayfabed the entire Rich Eisen show. I can't. Yeah, and
PJ is still mad about that to this day.
Yes, that's why I couldn't remember his name. Yes, he is. He's like,
he
yes.
held him to his face. I'm not joking. I'm really hurt.
Still mad at you.
Yeah. So
no, it's a great call. And I think the alternative that you were thinking is probably an equally good call. I don't know if anybody will go there or not.
Yeah, Becky, best heel promos in the game this year too.
Rob, who's your heel of the year, man?
I'm picking a duo, and for me, they were the most entertaining heel duo this year, and that's Chelsea Green and Ethan Page.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
I do like that a lot.
I rock with it.
Because I mean, like, basically, Chelsea Green is like she's like a Seinfeld character, basically. Every week, just doing all types of wacky shit, and always like scheming and trying to get over on people and all this type of stuff. And her and Ethan together, just like a perfect pairing. And they've been good all year together, and it's been really entertaining. And so for me, they're the most. And like Chelsea Green, she's the heir to the Miz because she does all the media stuff the same way the Miz does. So, and to me, just they've been the most fun to watch being heels this year.
I'm glad you mentioned Ethan, man. I'm glad you mentioned Ethan. I don't think he gets as much love as he should be. It's so underrated. Like the way he's come from AEW to come over to NXT and do what he's done.
Well, yeah.
He's main roster ready real quick with that gimmick.
Even when he was somewhat single in TNA, when Josh Alexander got hurt in the North, he was still very underrated. And I'm like, I like this guy. And then AEW, I still liked him. NXT, he's showing why I liked him. So I agree with you, Kenny.
He's going to be, when he does make it to the main roster, he's going to be a big star. I think he's got all the intangibles. He can cut a promo. He's got charisma. Tunney got, I mean, he's got everything about it. Like Tunney says, Gunther's a charisma vacuum. And he is. Ethan Page is kind of the opposite of that. Very charismatic. I think he'll translate over to the main roster very, very well. And Rob, as far as your pick, just remember, she's never been creamed like that before. So,
exactly.
You've got that going on.
Woo, woo, woo.
Yeah, always ready, right? AJ, always ready. Tunney, who's your heel of the year, man?
A shout out to Asuka.
Yeah.
She's treated Kairi Sane like shit all fucking year. And that is, yeah.
Kairi!
Anyway, my heels of the year are The Rock and Travis Scott. And they can go both fuck themselves. Period. End of story. Here's a spoon. Eat my ass. Next.
Logan basically said why Travis got fired.
He said Travis Scott was supposed to show up and we were both supposed to go out with John Cena and he didn't show up and that was that. And then John went on Cody's pod and said, one day we had The Rock and Travis Scott and the next day we didn't. So we pivoted. So Rock and Travis Scott, fuck you and fuck you. I'm easy to find. Fuck you.
Let me just say, Travis was training with Booker. No, Travis was training with Booker. I have trained with Booker. I would have quit too.
Not for the money they were, not for the spot and the money you would have been getting.
Yeah, I was about to say the money, the spot, and the recognition.
The point I'm trying to make is we get a lot of
Booker is a jokey 6 months.
Bruh, he's a jokey joke kind of guy.
I would have recited the whole roll in the 1990s.
Jelly fucking roll made it work. No excuses.
He's a joke. Booker's a jokey joke kind of guy. Booker is a fun-loving guy on camera. When you meet this dude in real life, that's a terrifying dude to work for.
Yeah, especially when Shamar's all pissed off because she ain't giving him none because he's fucking all in the Care Bear every fucking night. Yeah, I'd be pissed off too.
All right.
I won't speak on that.
I like Tunney's pick because that's more of a real world, like fuck these guys sort of situation. Yeah, that's a good call. Let's move into our pay-per-view PLE of the year category. And we're going to kick this off with the scientist himself, DPP. Dan, what was your PLE pay-per-view of the year?
Well, in years past, there's been a lot of really good PLEs. This year, for me, they were okay. There was nothing that really stood out as like a great pay-per-view top to bottom for me, to be honest. So I went with just one that's always my favorite and also has had one of the top matches of the year, which was the Royal Rumble. And, Cody and KO knocking it out of the park there. And then just the Royal Rumbles in general, to me, are always fun to watch. But there was nothing that really stood out as a, full-on PLE, loved every minute of it type of one to me. So I stuck with one of my favorites, which is always a favorite to me, Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I think in past years, there was at least one that would really stand out, and WrestleMania has been kind of the flag bearer the past couple of years. That is not the case this year, I don't think. But I like the pick for Royal Rumble. That's a good pick.
Generally, it's always usually the first night of WrestleMania to me is always a really good one. And that's probably what I've picked the last couple of years too. But yeah, to me, nothing I could think of. And maybe one of you guys will have one that'll be like, oh shit, I totally forgot about that. But I couldn't come up with anything that was like, yeah, that one hit me.
Fair enough. AJ, what do you got here, man?
As much as I did like the Royal Rumble, the weird thing with Jey Uso winning, I didn't hate, but it was still very off-putting to me. But I will say
a surprise. At least
PLE,
that was maybe
I'm not disagreeing where Cena gets upstaged and he's like, wait a minute, I didn't win. Wait a minute. I will say the PLE after, though, is my PLE pay-per-view of the year, and that is the Elimination Chamber, because to me, all 4 matches were pretty damn good. You had, as was talked about before, the women's Elimination Chamber match with Jade Cargill coming back and beating the ever-living hell out of Naomi. Then trying to further Tiffany Stratton being a face, you have her tagging in Canada with the one and only Trish Stratus against Nia Jax and Candice LeRae. KO versus Sammy, as was talked about before, with the unsanctioned match. And then John Cena winning the Elimination Chamber, the Punk thing that happened, Damian Priest, Drew McIntyre, Logan Paul, Seth freaking Rollins. You had a stacked Elimination Chamber for the men's side. You also had a stacked Elimination Chamber for the women's side. For me, that is PLE of the year, where I legitimately remember all 4 matches of the pay-per-view. I'm not going to lie.
That's my number 2. My honorable mention is going to be Elimination Chamber. But before we get to me, Kenny, what do you got here? What's your pay-per-view PLE of the year, man?
Man, this year's been tough, man. I'm not gonna lie. WWE for me has been shit this year, man. I haven't enjoyed it at all. Not as much as I used to. It's just been weird. The storylines have been weird. It's just been weird. A lot of money grabbing. It's just weird. It's just weird. A lot of focus on money and making money and stuff. And I think it's just affected the flow of WWE compared to last year. I just think it's affected a lot of stuff. Affected the pay-per-view. And if I was watching AEW regularly, I would have picked the AEW pay-per-view because their pay-per-views are just fire all the time. But the fact that their pay-per-views are 5-6 hours, I'm not picking that. No way. I can just sit down watching 6 hours worth of something I can watch a 2-hour Dynamite and watch pretty much the same thing. Like it's just not gonna do it. But so I'm gonna go a bit left field, and I'm gonna go with Worlds Collide. And the reason why I'm going with Worlds Collide because literally every single match on that show was fire from start to finish. Starting off with that crazy tag team match where Del Toro and what's his name?
Joaquin Wild.
Yeah, Joaquin Wild were just flying all over the place. I hadn't seen them wrestle like that in years. And then to end with Chad Gable versus El Vikingo in a solid match. The buzz for it was good as well. So for me, that was that was mine. I was really hyped for, looking forward to seeing what a WWE production would bring to Triple R, and they did a great job. And I think they built on that for the rest of the year as they've gone on. And every single Triple R show that I've seen since has been great, especially with Dominic Mysterio as the champion as well. Starting to filter in some of the other guys. So Javon Evans with Laredo Kid and Ray Phoenix.
Jack
Just been such
Hartwell,
nice influx of guys. Not too much WWE overkill, which has been good. So it's gonna be Worlds Collide for me.
I'd like to change my pick.
Okay. So for me, I love Kenny's pick and thinking outside the box a little bit on that end. That was really awesome. For me, came down to two of them. One of them is Elimination Chamber, like AJ said, but I'm not going to go Elimination Chamber because I'm going to go with Evolution 2 as my pay-per-view PLE of the year. Give it to the women this year. And what are you so upset about, Tunney? Why are you upset with me about that? It's yours? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to steal your thunder, man. But I'm just like looking back at this. I mean, we didn't even know we'd ever get a second Evolution, right? I mean, we went years and years and years before they actually made the call to do a second Evolution. And then the women just came out and absolutely crushed it on this show, which I don't know if I'd say it was as good as the first one, but I'm like looking back at the card right now. Becky beats Bailey and Lyra Valkyria. So many of us. The part that got me was like, I almost just about handed Jordan Grace the NXT Women's Championship before this event went down. And it didn't go down that way. JC Jane retained, and that was a shocking development for me. I was like, really? Tiffany Stratton beating Trish Stratus, Jade beating Naomi in that no holds barred match. Stephanie Vacour won the Battle Royal to earn the title shot. And then you had one of the best cash-ins in women's history with Naomi coming out, cashing in, taking the title off Io Sky, just getting involved with her and Rhea and that whole situation. So yeah, man, as much as I loved Elimination Chamber, and there's so many elements of Elimination Chamber to love, I'm going to give the women some love here. Evolution 2, the event that we didn't even think was ever going to happen, it happened, and they delivered in every respect possible.
Does this happen every year now, Dave?
We said no.
They're not going to do it every year. I don't think they're trying to do it. I mean, should they do it every year? Yes. Will they do it every year? No, because they're trying to make it like a special marquee event. And it'd be great if they did it every other year, or
it's only once a year.
I understand that.
It's pretty special.
It should be every year, but I don't think they'll go that way. But I don't know. Ray, you were nodding a lot there. I'm not sure if this is your pick as well, but go ahead, man.
You know balls, sir. To quote the great, well, not so great, but the mediocre girls group 702, where my girls at from the front to back, and are you feeling that? Put your hands up. Can you repeat that? Trying to take my man. See, I don't need that. Shout out 702.
That's Ray. I think. Thanks, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm an old white guy, Ray. I'm an old white guy. What do you expect, man? Shit.
You're not that old, brother. It's okay. 702 is the area code for Vegas, so you know something about them.
Well, that's true.
For the record, not only was this the best show, and because it had moments, great matches, all of that, what it was up against, they put this show in one of the worst situations they could possibly put a show in.
Yes.
It was the third leg of a three night in a row thing in Atlanta with SmackDown, Saturday Night's Main Event the night before, which some of them were on. Remember, that's the whole reason Blake turned on Jordan, because they tagged together the night before at Saturday Night's Main Event. And then they had the pay-per-view on Sunday. Not to mention that it didn't have a lot of build. Now, a lot of the fans that are listening don't seem to understand non-linear storytelling. So just because people aren't fighting the 3 weeks before a show doesn't mean they're not feuding. But nonetheless, there was not a lot of time for build, because I didn't announce it like 3 weeks before. That's the reason why Trish and Tiffany just said, "Hey, you want to fight? Yeah, I want to fight. Okay, let's fight." But
Plus, you had Great American Bash Saturday afternoon.
That was it was.
oh, that's right. It was 2 shows. Yeah. So
Yeah,
no, it
Great
wasn't.
Bash, and then Saturday's
yeah,
main
right.
event. And then, there was
And
a-
then,
Did they go up against AEW as well?
yeah, they did.
well,
So
that's what I'll begin to next.
Okay.
That was All In weekend. And the biggest, most damning thing was it was the same weekend in the same city of a 3-night Beyonce concert. So like,
God,
no, there was
I'm not gonna-
legitimate concern that people were going to be at the show. I'm not joking. I'm not making this up. There was legitimate concern.
I'm gonna break the fourth wall. I had to use the restroom. I just came back. I heard the Beyonce concert. I know we're talking about Bad Blood
Evolution.
or Evolution. That was
Evolution.
it. Not
Yeah.
Bad Blood. Bad
Yeah.
Blood was the one after.
But nonetheless, all of these things that they had to fight, and they still came out and not only knocked it out the park, but critically, this was you want to go to all the dirt sheet shit rag sites? Cage match, this is the highest show WWE's done all year. So I mean, Io and Rhea were going to one of the best women's matches of all time before Naomi cashed in. Becky, Lyra, and Bayley was one of the best opening matches you probably had all year. Not to mention, that's the first time Becky pulled out that flipping ass roll up. That's cool as fuck. It was just a great show. It was a great show.
You don't have to convince me, Ray. I mean, you kind of already did. You convinced me that my pick was right, but I love your context and your input for that. Rob, what about you, man? What's your pay-per-view PLE of the year?
AEW
AEW
Genesis.
World's End. Just kidding.
World's End.
It's
Just
just
kidding.
because MJF won the world title again.
I'm just kidding.
You know,
Forbidden Door 2025.
No, so I have Evolution second. I have SummerSlam.
Okay.
Because
Which night? Both nights, or you have a particular night?
the whole thing. Because I mean, for a quote unquote big show, you look at just it's a 2-night thing at like 14 matches, and to hit on as many things as they did, basically it was what WrestleMania was supposed to be. And like, I went to night 1 of SummerSlam, so I guess I'm a little biased. But yeah, I think like as far as for WWE PLE, as far as what they were aiming to do and how well they accomplished it, I thought that was their best effort. Now I think I'm going with SummerSlam.
I think
meant
you
that.
hit something on the head there. This is what WrestleMania was supposed to be. And I think that's a very apropos statement. This is what WrestleMania should have been. And they delivered on that with SummerSlam a lot more than they did with WrestleMania. Not to say SummerSlam is perfect, but a much better show than WrestleMania was. Tunney, I think I already stole your thunder on this thing, but did you want to add anything about Evolution?
No, you guys hit everything about Evolution. I think there's one PLE that no one mentioned. Clash in Paris was really fucking good, not to mention it was in Paris. And anytime you get the out of the United States crowd on a we're good for the big 4 or 5, right? But like other than that, we're horrible unless you get to a town that hasn't had it forever or a special night with somebody.
Yeah.
But when you show up like, wherever in Europe, Australia, Mexico, Canada, etc. I'm waiting for a South American show here at some point again. But I think Clash in Paris was really, really good. Roman got his get back on the Tribal Thief. Rusev and Sheamus was.
And that is the night he got stretched out, though.
I'm just throwing some of the matches out. Rusev and Sheamus had an excellent match. The
They
Fatal
sure did.
4-Way for the World Heavyweight Championship. And then I think John's second best match of the year was against Logan Paul. And I think it's a really important match as far as the industry is concerned, especially WWE-wise, is the things that Logan Paul learned and experienced being out there with John Cena in a match in a huge spot. It's going to pay dividends for them down the road because Logan Paul's another guy who could win the Royal Rumble, honestly.
Yep.
And to that point, y'all, when we do this next year, Backlash is going back to Puerto Rico next year.
But it's Evolution, by the way. The ladies were unfucking believable that night.
Yeah, we probably need to have Clash in Rio about now. Like Tunney's saying, let's get down to Brazil. Let's get down to some places where we can really do some damage, man. That would be something to see. All right, all great picks, excellent events to discuss all the way around. Okay, we are making the turn into the back half of part 1 into the Swaggies, and we're kicking this off with our promo segment of the year. It is Mr. Balaz who is going to lead the way on this conversation. You must have mixed something the wrong way.
No,
there,
I
buddy,
made a face because you said Mr. Balaz. That just sounds fucking weird. Please leave that for Andrew for him to make the same face.
All right, I retract that. Punk ass bitch Balaz. No, just kidding. AJ, What
Now
do you
that's
got
the
for
Andrew
your...
I'm hearing him.
There you go.
He
That's
responds
it.
to
What...
trivia trickster, Dave. He responds to
I
trivia
know.
trickster.
Well,
I
that
know.
works too.
That's true. That's true. I forget. AJ is the trivia trickster of the Chairshot Radio Network. But AJ, what is your pick for promo/segment of the year?
For me, because we didn't know where it was going, and I did mention my brother, so I'm going to give a big shout out to him for a segment that happened. It is good old Cody Rhodes saying, "Hey, Rock, go fuck yourself." It is the inevitable John Cena with the straight face hugging Cody, turning heel, kicking him in the dick, Travis Scott busting his eardrum. Don't worry, the next category I know about, I don't know if we're gonna talk about him or not, but it might be. But it was the go fuck yourself promo, especially the uncensored go fuck yourself. That's what has it on my list of, yes, it was live. Yes, we didn't know where it was going, but the fact that we had an F-bomb uncensored on WWE TV and it seemed planned, it stands out because it not only kicked off Cena turning heel, but it kicked off the fact that we were getting more involvement. We were getting Cody defying basically the brass because Rock is the boss now with TKO. So for me, it had to be the go fuck yourself because we had that happen. It was a shocker of a moment. It turned into a bigger shocker when Cena kicked him in the dick, and then the beatdown of Cody, not to mention Rock having the weight belt of Dusty's death on it. I know, Ray, I don't remember which show you did it, but I know you said it before, so I'm going to give you the shout out there. But you had everything leading up to Cody's defiance, Cena's resilience, his defiance as well. So it worked out for me. That was big because at that time we didn't know what the heel turn was going to be, but we got the heel turn and everyone was excited for it.
That's, yeah. I mean, that is obviously a huge segment. I cannot dispute that. See what happens, man. Kenny, what about you, man? What is your promo/segment of the year?
So originally, I was gonna go for, I called it Jade in the Cage, but then I realized it's not a segment, it's not a promo. It happened during the match, you know what I mean? So I just decided, all right, I'm just gonna leave that to one side.
Although leaving it to the decade of dead ass, Jade in a Cage, that could get some draws.
It's like jam in the sand or something.
Yes. But you know what I'm gonna go with? I love, right, when wrestlers get in trouble. I love it. I love it because it's
Hell
like
of
a
a
soap.
setup.
It's like a soap. You're trying to figure out what's happening next. You know, what's gonna happen next week. And in WWE, sometimes most of the people that end up getting in trouble are the women. Women be wilding out on the all of
Kenny.
a sudden when Charlotte and Tiffany started talking about,
Bitches be crazy, man.
there you go. There you go. You said that, not me. Yeah, you
there
better look
goes
over your shoulder.
all the female viewership.
But yeah, when they start talking about divorce, you start talking about DMs, other people's man. Nah, man, you gotta wait and find out what happens next week. It was like a little telenovela or something. Like it was madness. And as soon as she mentioned Kaiser and the 3 divorces, I was like, yeah, this is what I want to see. So it was Tiffany and Charlotte going off script. You know, everyone's hitting the dirt sheets to find out if it was if it was a work or if it's scripted. And yeah, I'm here for it, man. I'm here for it. Yeah, man, call them out. You know, you're trying to belittle me, I'm gonna call you out on your shit. Like, like I said, like what we say over here, you chat shit, you get banned. So I'm glad that happened. So it's
Hey, yo.
Tiffany and Charlotte.
And Tiffany and Kaiser broke up like not too long after that.
After that,
I
yeah.
know, man. That's
And
Wow.
for anyone
than-
that's gonna call out every time I clap for Kenny, I'm like, the clapping is, I legitimately forgot about that. That's actually a good call.
Good choice.
is a great call. That is a great call. For me, if I was going with segment of the year, I would probably go with what AJ had with the whole heel turn and that sort of thing. But I'm looking at this for promo of the year. And Dan, if you've got that available, can you go ahead and play that and let's see what we get here?
Do not talk about me and my hot husband. Me and my hot husband are the greatest wrestling couple of all time. But wait a minute, at one point that would have been you and your...
Anyway, that is my promo of the year. Becky absolutely roasting Nikki Bella. That was, I mean, I even showed that to my wife and she was just like, oh shit, I mean, and my wife, she watches wrestling here and there, not religiously like we do. But when she heard Becky just go after the whole, oh, you can't see him anymore. I mean, that got people literally, I'm watching that video back today, people standing up in the crowd like, oh my God, and just even Nikki had like no real good comeback to that. She even looked a little bit shocked. I'm sure they talked about it ahead of time, but still to actually hear it in your face like that, with all due respect to John Cena's, beat pipe bomb of CM Punk where he's laid out in the ring, which is a close second for me. Becky just roasting Nikki Bella there. That gets my promo of the year. Ray, what do you got, man?
So I want to give 2 quick shout outs. You talking about Becky. Shout out to Becky talking shit about Ozzy Osbourne dying and the Osbourne family making her apologize.
That's right. Yeah,
Number 1.
Exactly.
And number 2 shout out to Rock beating Cody's ass in the ring. That was last year.
That was well, I mean, he helped beat his ass in the ring this year a little bit, but
he
it was
helped it with the throat slash. But
yeah.
I don't think he touched
You're
him.
thinking of him beating his ass outside of the
Yes,
arena.
right. Sorry, because I was thinking, so
getting
my
the
bad.
blood on the belt and all that. Yeah,
My bad. Sorry. Okay. So I have 2 that are directly related to each other, and both a promo and a segment. And Kenny spoke on it. Brother, you didn't want to put Jade in the cage. I'm putting it as a segment because
it was a segment.
It was technically a segment because while the match had started, the match hadn't started. But that is my segment that ties directly into Naomi's promo when she had to give up the title and announce she was pregnant. Forgive me for being a bit, y'all know how I feel about Trinity McRae tattoo. I love that girl. And so, just on the fact that I was so excited for her to win the title, the whole story with her and Jade giving it up, her second time having to relinquish the title. But the reason why it's such a great promo to me is she didn't do the traditional, oh, I'm so sad, I love the fans. No, she caught herself and put that heel shit back on and kicked Adam Pearce out the ring and healed on the crowd for a minute. And so to flip that shit back and to keep her heat and to walk out proud with the title. Yeah, so those 2 are so directly tied together because nobody's going to give what Naomi and Jade, and to a lesser extent Bianca, did all year the credit it deserves because of all the shit that Cena did, because of all the shit that Rollins and Punk and Roman and Heyman did. They were a big part of why, can you say the year sucked? They were a big part of why the year didn't suck, was those 2 and those 3. So I wanted to give a little love to them.
I like that call a lot, man. Naomi and Jade and Bianca had a really strong program with each other. It probably cut short due to Naomi getting pregnant and Bianca getting hurt. Who knows where they could have gone with that had that not happened. But Rob, what's your promo / segment of the year, man?
Okay, for me, promo, I'm just gonna pick my favorite one. I mean, that's the night before Saturday night's main event when Obafemi got in Cody's face and just went through his whole rap because. I mean, he stood there face to face with Cody, and he looked like he absolutely belonged in the ring with that man. And then then the crowd was going along with him, and he went through his whole thing. I'm the ruler, I'm the bringer of war. And to me, that's my kind of pro wrestling shit, man. And one day, they're going to face each other again. And to me, this was it was a great introduction to the main roster audience for him, and just him proving that he can stand. Because. Some people call him NXT, and you immediately see that they're not that guy, or not that girl. And he came out there and he made it very clear that I am that guy. I belong right in the ring with this dude.
That's Obafemi is another guy who's a star in the making, and he's main roster ready right now. It's just a question of how you get the belt off of him and make it make any sense at this point in time. Tunney, what's your promo or segment of the year, man?
I sat all day pretty much. I had to work today, DJ. Go fuck yourself for fucking saying I was drinking, you asshole. Love DJ. Shout out to DJ. I couldn't decide between the Punk and Cena thing and the Becky and Nick thing. And I'm glad you guys mentioned all of those things because I'm going to interpret this in a different way. I'm going to interpret it as promo of the year. Who was the best promo of the year? And I feel like I may not get a chance to give this person an award and I wanted to fit this person in somewhere. I figured you guys would mention those two. That's why I didn't do it at Babyface. Could have done it there, but R-Truth had some amazing promos and segments this year with a number of different people.
He did.
So, like, I gotta find a way to give him one last swaggy, just in case. Dude got fired and came back. That's how baby fucking face he was this year, right? Like, intentional or not on storylines, whatever. But like a lot of the stuff, working with John, working with Brock, everything. Like, R-Truth, you are just an icon. And thank you for everything you've ever done for us. I mean that seriously.
Hey, Kenny, can you help Truth and Aldous find their British balls?
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
Some work. It's going to take some
I've been
work.
looking for their British balls for a couple months now.
I'm not gonna lie, I just wish for R-Truth that the Cena face turn didn't happen, because him being Ron Killings, that would have been amazing. I wanted to see 2002 Ron Killings, but
Yeah,
it's
truth.
still, yeah. Granted, I will say that is not my biggest disappointment of the year.
About to get to that. But before we do, we got to get DP's pick for his promo segment of the year.
So mine was also Naomi's promo when she found out she was pregnant, without overlapping anything Rey said. You know, that one, just the fact that she was, you know, she stayed in her heel character was so cool. And her saying, you know, all the other women should thank Big Jim for getting the opportunity to win the title. And yeah, saying like, hey, when I come back, like, even if I'm breastfeeding, I'm still, you know,
Big
I'm
thanks
still gonna.
to Big Jim getting her.
Just was like just so on fire. Like, God, I wish it wouldn't, you know, happy for them, obviously, but like she was, when she surprised one, you know, cashed in when we didn't think she was going to cash in that way, and had a great, even the promo even after she cashed in on Raw was really great too. And that was like kind of my runner up, like almost. And then this one, the month later, was just out of this world. Just a phenomenal promo by her. Staying in character was just such a, nobody saw that coming. You know, when you find out, you know, somebody's pregnant or whatever, usually that's, you know, a heartfelt moment and walk away. And no, she hit the ground and it just hit it hard. I'm staying in character, bitch. It was great.
And that was awesome. And yeah, like you're saying, even in that moment where it's like, let's celebrate that I'm pregnant, it's like still just being the quintessential heel all the way through.
I'm not dropping this title. You're gonna rip it out of my hands.
Great stuff, man. All right. AJ teased it a little bit, and it is time to go into our pick for disappointment of the year. And we're going to kick this off with the one and only Kinny Killa. Kenny, there's a lot of disappointment. I mean, it sounds like you're just going to give the award to WWE in general, but I suspect you're going to be a little bit more specific than that.
EKO Holdings.
But you got to remember, in the past, Kenny and I have both given AEW just carte blanche disappointment of the year before. So, Kenny, what do you got here? Yeah, Tunney too. Exactly. But I qualify that because Kenny and I both gave AEW brand of the year a few years ago, and we're a little bit off on that one, Kenny, but it's all right. I still love you, my brother. What's your disappointment of the year, man?
I still love you too, because you know me so well. You know me so well. You knew where I was going with this, right? Now, I can be specific, right? Because I think the rest of you will be specific. But I'm going to go with WWE as a whole, because I've just been really disappointed with so many different aspects. I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but over here in the UK, man, everything just looks like a massive money grab. Literally, like the ad, right? The ads is one thing, ticket prices is another. But then the other thing is, okay, The Time Is Now was a really good storyline, but it's taken away from everything else that's happening, right? They focus so much on John Cena and what's happening there. I feel like it's taken away from other elements. One, the women have been booked terribly. I feel like the women have been booked terribly, to the point now with the second half of the year, they're all in tag teams because they haven't been able to write anything specific for the women. Instead, what they've done is they've bunched them all together, so they're all fighting each other. And in the second half of the year, there's been no real women's storyline, really, right? They're all kind of bunched up together. I just feel that Cena, the heel turn was done so terribly. Yeah, the interjection of The Rock and all of that kind of stuff. I just think that Triple H and the booking team, I think they've just taken their eye off the ball a bit too much. They focus a lot on the money side of things. I just think it's had a detriment on the booking. I just think there's been a lot of lazy booking as well. Now, don't get me wrong, there has been some good stuff. You know, there's definitely be some good stuff, as there always will be every year. But I just think, man, where last year they had a good year, this year, boy, man, I'm trying to defend them against certain people, and I just can't, man, because this year it's been a difficult one from me watching over from across the pond, man. So yeah, WWE is in general, man.
And I would agree with Kenny to the point that WWE has had an off year. Tunney's shaking his head. You cannot compare, Tunney, you cannot compare this year to last year. Last year, WWE had a great year, 2024. 25, they were off in a few places. And I mean, we're gonna as we dig deeper into this, I think we'll get into some of the more of the symptoms to the overall malady. You know, I should say it that way. Go ahead.
I did. I'm sorry. I love you, Kenny.
Is Ray telephone on us?
Here's the thing. Listen, like you can't. The problem with it is you're coming off of some of the greatest years ever, right? It's like going from the Attitude Era to the Attitude of Aggression era to.
Wait a sec. Why are you lumping me into this shit? You're talking Ruthless Aggression era. I'm like, why are you throwing me under
ruthless,
the bus,
not
bro?
attitude. I
He's just
respect what
throwing
you were
me
trying
under
to
the
do.
bus
but
here,
you're
Custom and
like,
been trained into it. I don't think it was as bad as you think, but I respect your opinion.
Well,
let's keep it a buck,
ahead,
man.
Kenny.
Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it real, right?
Here's my biggest thing. My biggest thing is all the women are in tag teams so they can fucking finally flesh out that division. I think that division has been stronger than it's ever been, in my opinion. DP and I have been talking about this for the last 3 months. You finally have meaning in the women's tag team division. That's why they're all there. They're letting the younger people come up in the other side. You got Stephanie Vaquer with one title. You got Tiffany Stratton with the other. What are you going to just come in and squash them with Charlotte's and Becky's? No, Charlotte's building the tag division. Becky's building the Intercontinental Gimmick Infringement Division, AJ and DP. That's where I'm at with it. I just wanted to argue a little bit.
Tiffany's not the
Yeah, I know you. I've known you for a long time as well, so I knew you were going to come back with me at this. But I just think that, man, you look at Stephanie Vaquer, she's the champ, right? She's the champ. You should be planning for her as the champ to have a good run. And I don't think since she's been up there, right, she's had, she's done bits and pieces. I love the girl, and she's done bits and pieces, but I don't think her run has been as good as it should have been, right? And I just think that there's been a lot of lazy booking that's happened, especially more over the second half of the year. Whilst we're trying to obviously flesh out this John Cena thing. I don't think it's a direct result of John Cena, but I just think they've just taken the eye off of the ball in so many different ways. And I'm not trying to compare it to last year. Last year was last year. I just look at it as this year, and this year was not good. There was bits and pieces, but for me, the flow of WWE this year was just not good for me.
Let me dig down a little bit and give you my disappointment of the year. And this kind of goes into digging below the surface as to some of the stuff. I know a lot of people are going to say that John Cena heel turn in general was the disappointment of the year. I'm going to be even more specific than that. For me, it is the absence of The Rock after Elimination Chamber. That is my disappointment of the year, because you had all this stuff set up. And like, I know we've explained earlier what went wrong, that sort of thing. But The Rock was so integral to John Cena's heel turn. And then, like, to have him not be involved at all. And like for night 2 of WrestleMania to be there in Vegas. And when the music hits and Travis Scott comes out, the palpable disappointment among 70,000 people in Las Vegas when Travis Scott walks out and it's not The Rock, that is the personification of disappointment in tangible form. Disappointment's usually some existential sort of amorphous thing, but dude, you actually felt it physically that night in Allegiant Stadium. It was and it just cut the nuts off of anything they could. That heel turn could have been so great if The Rock was involved, right? I mean, there were so many things they could have done with that had The Rock been involved. His absence just neutered that heel turn before it ever really had a chance to get any legs. So yes, I know people are going to say the heel turn in general is the disappointment of the year. I'm being even more specific. It is the absence of The Rock to do the throat cut and be the catalyst, sell me your soul, and then just gone for the rest of the year. Still haven't seen him. To me, that's the disappointment of the year in WWE. I go to Ray next.
Well, respect to Kenny. Most of y'all probably gonna pick some semblance of John Cena heel turn, Rock, Travis Scott, and whatnot. By the way, I think Rock could have got away with it if he just didn't do the throat slick, because it made it seem like he prompted him to turn heel. He could have been there, and John chose to turn heel himself, but it was the prompting that
could have showed up. If he only showed up at WrestleMania, that's it. Only showed up at WrestleMania, it would have made a huge difference.
There is no. We had. No, I don't think there's a. He don't disagree with you. I think we all agree on that. But I can't pick the John Cena heel turn in good faith because I am one of the biggest supporters of it, especially amongst this group. I acknowledge there were a lot of flaws, the setup and the ending. I hate the way it ended more than I hate the setup. To just say fuck it, I'm not heel no more. That's bad writing in general. But I
This isn't
enjoyed
working.
what he.
I'm a face
Yeah.
again.
But I tremendously enjoyed what he did as a heel, so I can't hate on that. I'm gonna pick something that none of y'all are even thinking about except for maybe Ray. I'm gonna pick the Death Rider. I'm gonna pick the Death Riders because Moxley is what their fan base calls their ace, and I think he's earned that title because it's a joke amongst people that watch AEW that he still ain't. He was supposed to go on vacation right after Brawl In, and he can't go. He ain't been. It's been 2 years. He still ain't got another vacation. He's there every night. He'll wrestle a match against Darby where Darby burns half his fucking skin off, and then he wrestles the next fucking Wednesday on Collision on Dynamite.
Hell,
Like he
fucking
is
Moxley didn't he was doing his rehab for his alcoholism
while wrestling.
he was
Yes.
in AEW.
100%. He is by far their ace. And
Is
the
that
disillusion.
AAEW?
Yes, that is the root beer company.
AAEW.
The disillusion of the Blackpool Combat Club into the Death Riders was extremely interesting as a viewer to see all these dudes turn extremely vicious and mysterious and dangerous, and the shit they did with the truck and all that. There was real intrigue, and then locking up the fucking title at first was like, okay, cool. And to do that for 6, 7, 8, 9 months and have literally no fucking story reasons, no growth, no actual connective tissue of why they're doing it connected to the rest of the fucking company. You know what I mean? And some of that's on Darby, because when you just decide you're about to win the world title, you say, fuck it, I'm gonna go climb a fucking mountain. That kind of throws a wrench in some plans. But
Not a mountain, the mountain.
The mountain, yes, you're right.
Standing next to a mountain?
There's chopping down with the edge of my hand. There is still not one person I've
Yes,
ever
I'm
talked to, the most ardent AEW supporter, anybody, who can tell me what the fuck was the point. Apparently, it's supposed to start off as Moxley challenging AEW. Like, it started off with Moxley when AEW was at its worst. Moxley coming out on screen and saying AEW sucks. Like, but you're the guy. You were the champion for most of this run. And so, yes, much like the residual effect of John Cena's heel turn when at SummerSlam, like Dan said, when it was black and then the skulls came out, everybody went crazy. The reason so many people I think look so strongly, so happily at that Hangman Page match with Moxley at All In is because that's the first time they saw the fucking world title in 9 months when he unlocked the briefcase, and it was just this, oh my god, the title again. But that was a story. I liken it to Aces and Eights. That was a story that could have transcended that company and lifted them into a level in which they're more competitive than they are, which they're nowhere close. But at least they're in the populace of the casual fans' ideology or thought, and it just continued to fuck them up even more. William Regal just came out last week after Kyle Fletcher got jumped on his fucking head off the top rope about no affiliations. I fucked my neck up twice. You might want to watch out your fucking necks because you're young and adrenaline, but when you're old and decrepit, it's gonna fucking come back to hurt you, right? AEW fans were telling them that we wish you fucking were paralyzed and died. This is the fan base. These people will support this company no matter what. The sickos, right?
And
the sickos were hold on, AJ. The sickos were telling the Death Riders that they suck, and not in a wrestling connotation, not in a storyline connotation. They just fucking hated it.
For the Regal aspect, I'm going to say this. I am 29 going on 30 in March. My knee is fucked up and I wish it wasn't fucked up, but I want to repair it as best as I can, and that is something I don't want to do. I don't want to have it more screwed up than it already is.
That's a knee. Now this is a neck. But I'm only brought it up to explain in my point how fucked up and crazy and diehard to the worst extent AEW's fans are, and they hated the Death Rider. So I feel like things tend to seem to be going much better for that company right now, which is good for them. But a lot of their problems, I think, can be tied to, besides, we know how we feel about the dude that books those shows, but to the Death Riders. And now, are they babyface now because John Moxley lost a lot of matches and now he's winning the same way? I'm so fucking confused. So yeah, that's the disappointment to me, because we could have been here on this very show and everybody except for Tunney, who fucking hates the motherfuckers, could have all been saying Death Riders, and at least 2 or 3 of the. We laughed at Rob about picking whatever he did to AEW choice he picked at the beginning of the show, right? Or Hangman Page, whatever it was. We wouldn't have been doing that if the Death Riders was even mediocre to good. So I just think by far it's that.
I got nothing, man. That's a compelling argument. Rob, are you with Ray on this one, or what are you saying about this?
Okay. I'm going to refer to the Cena thing, but I'm going to be very specific. And the ending of the final match. Okay. I'm sorry, but if there was ever a time to play straight, that was the time to do it. Okay. That was a celebration and a goodbye to somebody who all these people have been riding with for 20 years. People came from far and wide to Washington, D.C. to be there for that. It was supposed to be a big celebration. That is not the time to get clever and try to write some Shakespearean bullshit. It's not.
Are you mad? Are you mad about the fact that he tapped out, or the fact that he slyly smiled as he did it? What are you mad about?
Both.
Okay,
It's
so
all
are
both.
you mad he lost?
Hold on.
Are you mad he lost?
Yeah, that's what I'm
No,
wondering.
I'm not mad he lost.
Won? Okay, all right.
But it's like.
But how? Okay, so how the fuck else does Gunther win then?
He passes out. Okay, fine.
He passed.
What
This is
I
what we
will
talked about,
say
Tunney. We thought
is-
pass out, tap out was on the table.
Right.
Go ahead, AJ.
But
Sorry.
look, here's the thing. Okay, John Cena is not just a guy on a wrestling show. He is basically a mythical superhero kind of character, and and he has an ethos. He has a way of doing things, et cetera, et cetera. And when that happens, you die the way that you lived. Okay, you don't do something different at the very end. This is just basic storytelling stuff here. Okay, you may deviate from your code or whatever halfway through or at some earlier point in the story, but if you're dying at the end, you die the way that you lived.
Never give up. I understand what Rob's
Okay.
saying, because I was the one sitting here on X going, hey, ladies and gentlemen, in case you haven't figured it out, John Cena is going to pass out to Gunther's sleeper. Like,
Yeah,
I
and
get
that's
that.
fine, but
I get the fact that if you're never give up and he goes out and he passes out, and DP and I talked about this, when he raised his hand the first time and it dropped and the match wasn't over, he wasn't passing out, because you only pass out after 1 drop. You don't go to 3 drops and pass out. You go to 2 and then fire up, right?
Which
But
I will. I'm going to
basic.
argue, and I'm not discouraging Rob's pick because it makes sense. What I'm going to say is, if you've watched the Cody Rhodes interview with What You Want to Talk About.
I don't care.
Okay, that's fair. Never mind.
So you don't
I
care
don't-
that
I
he
don't
makes
care.
all the sense in the world just because you don't like it. Got you.
No, I explained this. It's storytelling 101.
No, it's not, because when the people who
Yes,
made
it
the
is.
story, they're explaining
the
the
damn
story.
superhero, you die the way that you lived.
No,
okay?
you die based on your own hubris.
I'm
Did
talking.
Superman tap out when he couldn't beat Doomsday?
No, he fought until he died. Okay, and look, okay, in Last Jedi.
Tune into Bandwagon Nerds every Monday on Chairshot
Okay.
Radio Network.
Okay, halfway through, Luke Skywalker threw his hands up and said, "Fuck this shit." But at the end, he did what he always does. He comes back for his friends, and he
What about
fights to
Obi?
the end.
What about
At the
Obi-Wan?
end of the movie, when Luke Skywalker died, he died the way he always does things.
What about
Okay,
Obi-Wan?
that is Obi-Wan wasn't the main character. Obi-Wan was a
hold on, time out, Rob, please don't try and justify Last Jedi, man. We're not going there.
I'm just saying that Luke Skywalker died. Ultimately, he died the way that he lived. Okay,
I get what you're saying, Rob.
said. I get what
and
he's
that's
saying.
how when you're that type of character, that's how it's supposed to go. And when you want to try and get clever and do some Shakespearean bullshit, which is exactly what they did, and you see what happened. The heat was on Hunter at the end of the show. Okay, they were booing Hunter. They weren't booing Gunther. They were booing the Booker. Okay, so when the heat is on the Booker at the end of the show, that means you fucked up.
That's bad fans.
Let's put it this way, Dave. Clearly, no one is more disappointed than Rob.
I'm gathering that. I can sense, I can feel his disappointment. I can feel your hatred, Rob. I can feel your hatred. Let it flow. Let the dark side flow through
Yes.
you. Look,
And Ray, you're wrong. What were you going to say, Ray? You're wrong.
Yeah, Ray, respect your
You
father.
can tell me
I
I'm
mean,
wrong
come on
all
now.
you want. The motherfuckers who made the match are right.
Turn
So
into
we can all disagree.
in every second Tuesday of the week for the Ray and Rob podcast. That's right, second Tuesday of every week.
Ray, you ignorant slut.
Father and son,
Ray or
father and
Jane?
son.
We had talked a lot
Both
about
of us, I guess.
No, we talked a lot about the whole tap out versus pass out sort of situation when the match was coming. And I mean, Tunney and I know we talked about it on the Big Five project. But anyway, Tunney, what's your disappointment of the year? Let me go to you, man.
It also involves John Cena.
Shocker.
Something you guys haven't even thought about since we've been
What's
sitting
that?
here. We didn't get John Cena versus Edge. And I understand
On this day.
I understand where Edge is, and I understand that it's just not possible, and I understand they're not anywhere near a point of working together, and that's fine. But it's still disappointing. I can still be disappointed about it. John Cena's greatest rival is Edge, period.
I blame
That's my
Percy
biggest
Jackson.
disappointment of this year is the fact that I didn't get to see John Cena versus Edge one last time.
Be
Blame
more
Percy
specific.
Jackson.
Going to say
That
this.
that Hunter and Tony Khan cannot get beyond their own egos and work together.
Which is
Ray
why
had the
I
perfect
was
trade.
saying,
Ray had the hold on, AJ. Let me just finish this real
No,
quick.
go-
Ray,
go
let me
ahead.
just say this one thing. You and then go hit it because I want to hear what you have to say. But Ray had the perfect trade. One night only, Cena, and then the other night, one night only, or maybe mini run is Bailey joins Sasha to bring the tag titles women's style. That's Ray Cash.
They had
Yep.
the
That is a
tag
Ray fucking Cash fucking idea, and I love that
agree.
from you, Ray. It's just and I get it. It's not possible. It's just something that isn't in the ether right now. But as fans, as we are for following all this, you can't say that Edge isn't Cena's biggest rival. And the fact that they shouted each other out. We're gonna get to all that next episode. But my biggest disappointment is that AJ.
which I will agree is my second disappointment of the year because Edge is Cena's ultimate foil. But I will also say what you also said. Tony Khan's not going to do that to support something WWE brand.
But I can still feel disappointed.
You can feel disappointed. That's not that. I'm not taking that away. I'm taking.
You don't tell me what to feel.
I'm taking away the fact that that wasn't going to happen as much as we all wanted it to happen. I mean, we got Edge. I forget what pay-per-view for AEW it was. If Rob or
We did the 5 moves.
okay, I was gonna say Rob or Ray, one of the parental figures or the child figure, was going to correct me on
Well,
it.
black guys. It's okay.
I wasn't gonna say that.
It's
Come
okay.
on.
It's
Damn
all
it,
right.
Ray just
No,
got to
it's
go
okay.
there, man.
It's a
Outside
fact
of the
fact.
Jazz roster, I'm the blackest person in Utah. But Ray's nodding. Not the
I mean,
point.
outside of sports teams, you might be.
Might. I will say might. But Ed
Hey,
is
Dan,
the ultimate foil.
Dan, save us from this racially motivated discussion that this is kind of like morphing into. What is your disappointment of the year in wrestling?
We could just move on to the comeback at this point because mine was also the John Cena heel run. I think we've covered that in great detail.
I'd have broken that down in minutia so
And-
far, haven't we?
I mean, since I'm the last, I'm not gonna
Kenny.
just say
Oh,
I'm
that's
not
right,
gonna
Kenny did
say
go, yeah.
the Cena heel turn. I'm going to actually say I'm not gonna lie. In my document that I have in Google Sheets where it says biggest disappointment of the year, I put in parentheticals because we can't always put AEW because AEW really wasn't a blind spot here. It wasn't a negative spot. I'm going to say Travis Scott. He did everything to make this a heel run. He busted Cody's eardrum. And then when Mania came, you heard Fiend to the point that even Logan Paul said, I'm sick and tired of this song. And then we heard nothing of Travis Scott to the point that the WWE video game for WWE 25 removed him from the DL. He is the biggest disappointment because he could have done great things. He could have been a massive heel. He could have been a turning point in Cena's heel turn. And the fact of the matter is, we never got anything out of Travis Scott other than he smacked Cody Rhodes to the point that he busted his eardrum. Like, that's his only feather in his cap checkpoint in professional wrestling is the fact that he busted Cody's eardrum. Way to go. Rock even put a tweet out saying, this is between Cody and Cena. I'm not going to interfere in WrestleMania. And then we hear, Fiend. Fiend. And again, Logan Paul said, I'm sick and tired of hearing that song. If I hear it again, I'm going to cut my ears off.
I got so sick of hearing it in Vegas. I just wanted to pull my fucking hair out.
Like, I'm not a Logan Paul fan, but the fact that he said that makes me be like, he has a point. And if you have me agreeing with Logan Paul, let alone Tunney for majority of these categories, that's a problem.
There are various aspects of the whole Cena heel turn that when you really break it down into its components, you realize, well, it wasn't the turn. It was just elements of the turn that just went so far off the rails. But good stuff all the way around. Let's move into our comeback wrestler of the year. I'll head this one off. For me, this was kind of an easy-ish choice, I'd say, because when you go from being a part-timer to the main focus of the entire run of WWE in 1 year, every aspect of what's happened, the main focus of WWE for a whole year revolving around one person, and he wasn't hardly involved the year before, it's John Cena. He's got to be my comeback wrestler of the year. I know John wasn't hurt or anything like that, and he didn't come back from injury, but I just think when you go from where he was the year before to being the focal point of WWE in the next year, he's my comeback wrestler of the year. You guys probably don't agree with that, but that's what I got, man. He's my comeback dude of the year. Ray, tell me why I'm wrong.
Well, this is how you know this was the year of John Cena. John Cena could effectively have won best babyface, best heel, best disappointment, and best comeback, all in the same damn. We ain't talking about matches.
I thought about finding a way to make every single award night 1 and night 2 of the Swaggies John Cena. I thought about it.
That's what I said at the beginning. I was like, I wanted to too, and I'm like,
the thoughts of the DWI podcast is not within AJ Balaz. Continue.
Yeah.
I didn't pick John because it wasn't a comeback. He's been, even though he doesn't wrestle every week or every month, even every year, he's still a figure. He's always around. If I'm forgetting somebody in any of the major companies, please remind me because I don't remember. It's got to be AJ Lee. It's got to be. And no, not that. No, April Lee. Yes, AJ. And not only am I picking her because Punk coming back was something that nobody outside of PC Tunney thought would ever happen. Get a man credit, he called that shit the entire 10 years. But the one thing that even I don't think Tunney thought would happen was AJ coming back. And for AJ not only to come back, but did y'all hear the pop she got? Now she ain't done much of shit. She's been in 2 major matches, and both matches have been good. That WrestlePalooza match is really fun. But and I will say this, I'm not an AJ Lee fan. I'm not one of these people that worship her the way people in that 2010 era do. I'm not. I'll never forgive her for that stupid fucking wrestling isn't sexually transmitted fucking line. That's one of the worst lines I've ever heard in wrestling in terms of detrimental wise. Because you talking about these women that's married to these wrestlers when you've been with all these fucking wrestlers your goddamn self. But nonetheless, I give you credit. But nonetheless, I appreciate what she meant to the fans and most importantly, to the people who came underneath her. For example, her wrestling daughter Roxy and Cora Jade and all these people, right? No, and AJ have adopted Roxy as their quote unquote wrestling daughter, right? I appreciate that. What does warm my heart is to know that while she wasn't the only one, she was the most vocal woman at a time when women weren't getting opportunities. She was the most vocal person pushing for them. And I
think, as AJ Lee said, none of you could lace up my Chuck Taylors.
Well, fuck her. Fuck that.
Back in the day.
Yeah, you're right. Fuck that. I'm not an AJ fan. But
I'm just saying.
No, yeah, I got you. But what I'm saying is vocally pushing for more time, better treatment, equal match, all these things. And she left and didn't get a chance to see it happen. And now to see her back and to see the work of what she did put into fruition. Makes me feel good because I don't have to like her as a wrestling fan. I don't have to be a fan of hers, but I can acknowledge what she did and what she meant to the business and what she meant to women. And now to come back and women are as possibly equal as they've ever been, main eventing shows on a regular basis. Some of the women are just as big stars as most of the men. It's real cool to see. So it's got to be AJ.
I'll say this. I would have gone with AJ if she'd been involved more. Like you're saying, Ray, she's come back and her return might be moment of the year. I mean, we'll talk about that next time. I didn't go with her because she's only been marginally involved, but I like the call. Absolutely. She's looked good in her 2 matches. Rob, what do you got in this category? Who's your comeback wrestler of the year?
Well, if anybody knows me, knows I'm pretty biased here.
Does it count?
I know who.
She-
Yeah.
She blew out her knee. She blew out her whole knee at like 38 years old, dude. Hell yeah,
She was out.
counts.
She was out for a while, Ray.
And she was out for a year.
I'm forgetting how long
Yeah.
it was. I'm not being funny or being.
Oh,
playful.
okay.
I
Yeah.
forgot how
But-
long it was. Yeah.
Yeah, she blew her whole knee out at 38 years old and was out for a whole year. Okay, that is potentially career ending. And so
Everything in her personal life too, Rob. Like she
That-
went
yeah,
through
and all that
some
other
shit
shit,
too
too.
along the way, right? It wasn't just physical; it was mental.
yeah, and then also the fact that she got to put up with Rick beating her dad.
Yeah.
If
Which,
you're
yeah,
new,
Charlotte-
to this, is Charlotte Flair is his choice.
Yes, yeah, because look, Rick beating your dad sometimes is great, sometimes it's not. Okay,
If you're new to this, Charlotte is always Rob's choice. Just let's keep it real.
but
Just
no, but in all
thankfully
seriousness,
for not
I mean,
that ass.
well, no,
Yeah.
I'm not.
Well, there that no
No,
ass.
He,
I
he
think
can at
he
least
picked
keep a
Hangman
level
Page for
head.
that, didn't he?
He's not fucking blind, AJ.
Yeah,
I'm
but anyway.
aware.
Anyway, but look, yeah, I mean, she blew her knee out at 38 years old and was out for over a year, and coming back from that and being able to come back and perform like she's been performing this year, and like, yeah, I'm biased, but fuck it, okay, whatever.
It's a good choice. I'm not. I'm being
It's a-
funny. I normally like to troll you about that, but I legitimately forgot how long she was out.
I kind of did too. But that's a great choice because, yeah, Charlotte came back. She was in the match with Tiffany. She was tag team champion. Her and Alexa's whole thing has been really entertaining stuff. So
She won
I
the
think that's a
Rumble.
great call, Rob.
She won the Rumble.
She did win the Rumble.
Yeah, she won the Rumble.
She won the Rumble. She went on to face Tiffy. She teamed with Alexa. That's a really good call, Rob. I like that a lot. Tunney, who's your comeback wrestler of the year here?
It's AJ. Yeah, I mean, she's been gone forever. It's another comeback we didn't see coming, so I'll give it to AJ. I love what Rob's laying down with Charlotte. Like, Charlotte's the greatest women's wrestler of all time, and to be off for that long and to come back and win the Rumble, be in a major title match at WrestleMania, and now, along with Alexa, like I said before, what they're doing now is the best they've done with the women's tag team division, in my opinion. They have major players in big tag teams for a while. So hopefully they can keep that going. But yeah, it's AJ Lee, her return. Also, honorable mention to Matt Cardona making his way back to the
Yeah.
B.
Yeah, for one night only, at least. But he's always ready, Tunney. Always ready.
Hey, you don't got to get ready if you stay ready.
That's right. That's right. DP, who's your comeback wrestler of the year, man?
Mine was also AJ Lee. My second pick was Cena, so you guys hit them both already. So again, both superstars who wear jean shorts. So, I'm pretty sure AJ wears them better, but
Yes.
I think maybe I'm biased. I got a thing for jean shorts. I don't know.
Why don't you just have jean shorts be your comeback of the year?
Yeah, but then, no, I don't need to start a trend. They're not good.
He's a trendsetter, Tunney. You know that.
I don't know.
So yeah,
He
exactly.
need it.
Sure. Yes, that's exactly what he's known for.
There's one
Trend.
thing you could say about me, is that I set trends.
Sure.
I know this. AJ, who's your comeback wrestler of the year? Man?
Hilariously enough, AJ is not going to pick AJ, but Mr. AJ Lee, and that's going to be CM Punk. I mean, he came back from injury, won the World Heavyweight Championship twice after all the bullshit he's been through. For me, that is CM Punk actually being back on the top echelon as to what he was before, still currently the World Heavyweight Champion. I want to give it to AJ Lee. She is my back, she is the runner-up for me, but the fact that CM Punk has done a lot more, where he is in 2025 World Heavyweight Champion, we can't discourage the fact that Punk has been putting on match after match whenever he is in the ring. And I know Rob can attest for this because I've shown up on the Mindless Wrestling podcast half amount of times. I am not a Punk fan. So the fact that I am praising Punk is something to be astonished of, Mark. I think it's Punk because he's shown that he has turned back the clock. He has shown that he is the best in the world at what he does. So I gotta go CM Punk on this one, even though it might not be the best consensus, but for me, it is relevant.
Yeah, I mean, Punk came back from injury before that, but yeah, his year this year has certainly been nothing to. I mean, he's had a hell of a year. But Kenny, let me go to you. Let's see what you got here. Who's your comeback wrestler of the year?
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that no one's mentioned this guy, but comeback of the year for me is a guy that was out for pretty much a year, blown his ACL. My guy is Ilya Dragunov. Like, the guy's come back
Shout out to
and literally
Ilya.
saved
Good
SmackDown,
call.
right? He's come back. And bearing in mind, when he debuted on the main roster, it wasn't too long after where he got injured, right? And I felt so bad for him. And then the way he's come back literally every week, the guy doesn't have a bad match. Like, he pulls up everyone to his standard in every match, every week. And the run he's been on, ridiculous. The match that he had with Carmelo Hayes the other day, a couple of matches he's had with Carmelo Hayes, I couldn't believe my eyes. Like, this is on SmackDown. Like, he's literally saved that show every week, where I think sometimes on some of the wrestling on both Raw and SmackDown on a weekly basis isn't always that great, but he is carrying that every week, man. And I just, carrying that level of intensity as well in his wrestling, which I don't think there's anyone else really that carries that kind of intensity, that kind of selling, and the ability to bring up his opponent to his level as well, to make them look good. Yeah, he's just been great. And I think that good things are going to happen for him this year. So yeah, definitely my shout is Ilya Dragunov. He would have been booked as like some Russian communist if Vince was in charge, as some dastardly heel, which wouldn't have worked, But
Do you think
now
he would have made him sing the Russian national anthem like
Oh,
the
Without a
100%.
doubt.
100%.
just
Come up with
checking.
a tank like Rusev
He
and
would have
shit.
made
Hey, pal.
him get
Hey,
a
pal,
tattoo.
yeah, how's your singing voice, pal?
He would have made him get a tattoo of Putin on his ass and portrayed that amongst everybody.
Without a doubt. Like,
Oh, we're
yeah.
gonna have you go out there and sing Putin on the Ritz. How about that?
I'll give
There
you
you go.
$100
Hey,
if you sing
Kitty,
the USR.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Kenny, I love your
Listen.
pick. How long is it before Dragunov gets in Gunther's face and we kick that whole thing off again on the main roster?
Not, man, he's not long. I don't think it's gonna take long. Now he hasn't got the title. They need to obviously establish it into a feud, but they'll make their way. They'll make their way together at some point and have a long feud for the WWE audience.
God, I can't wait. As well as those guys tore it up in UK. Yeah, let's get to that sooner rather than later. All right, man, let's go into next category, next to last category, our breakout star of the year. And the one and only Rey Ca is going to kick this one off. Raymond?
I'm tied, so I have a woman and a man. My
Okay.
woman is Stephanie Vecchia, and I don't have to explain that. She went from not even being on the main fucking roster, the world champion. In great positions. The one thing that she's still struggling with, as Kenny kind of alluded to earlier, is English isn't her first language. But there's a lot of people whose English isn't their first language that are good at promo. Asuka can't speak no fucking English, but she can cut a promo, right? Shinsuke speaks conversational English, but he can cut a promo. Stephanie can't cut a promo yet. So, like, once she gets better at that, she'll become a bigger deal. But the male answer, go ahead and say his name. Hopefully he don't appear, because that would be very awkward. We've been on the show for 2.5 hours. But, in fact, he might show up in Milwaukee. Wake up, Tunney. Your favorite wrestler's coming.
What's that, Gunther?
No.
No, your second favorite.
Boring. Joe Hendry?
So think about the year this man's had. TNA World Champ, in the Royal Rumble, replaces Kevin Owens in Randy Orton's match at WrestleMania, and has a WrestleMania moment, right? On top of that, then officially signs with WWE, has a good run there, stays relevant, is everywhere. Everywhere. Then, of all the people that was brought up to be Cena wanted on his last show, Joe Hendry was there. You think that's where it ends, right? Joe Hendry wrestled a match against The Miz on the last SmackDown of 2025. So all the people we're talking about that's called up, right? Oba's basically called up. We know Javon's called up because he's about to sign a contract. Trick is called up. All these people, right? Your boy Joe Hendry probably there too. He had a hell of a year, man.
He did.
He wins RKO of the year, that's for sure.
Yeah, he just being the guy who answered Randy Orton's open challenge at Mania. That's a huge moment for him. And then he gets rewarded by actually signing a WWE contract. So I like the call, man. Rob, what you got here, man? Who's your breakout star of the year?
I'm going with Javon Evans. Because he really distinguished himself this year, and like he was on damn near every show they could put him on. He's working on Raw, SmackDown, NXT. He's been on the AAA stuff. He worked at TNA pay-per-view, and to me, he really distinguished himself, like, from all the other guys in NXT, other than Trick and Oba, and like he's not like originally I was thinking, okay, he's another one of these guys that does the flippy stuff and all that. Okay, fine, great. But he really distinguished himself as one of the like superior people at doing that, and then also just as not just being that. And he can talk well. Now, what I've said about his promos is that basically he's not talking to us. He's a 21-year-old kid, and he talks like a 21-year-old kid. That's who he's talking to. Those are the fans that will understand him and that will get him when he's talking. It kind of flies over our heads a little bit. We're too old for that shit. The way he talks and communicates and all of that. But I think ultimately that will help him, and it'll help him like get over with younger fans particularly. So yeah, that's my call.
I'm so happy you brought up his promos because there's a thing about promos that we don't talk about enough about people cutting promos, and it's authenticity. You want people to sound authentic, like they know what they're talking about, and like it sounds like their character. But you also want it to sound like it's really them. There is no wrestler in the WWE and any of its Raw, SmackDown, NXT, AAA, TNA to its periphery that sounds more authentic than Javon Evans. Javon sound like he talking to the homies back in Charlotte, and I love that, and I hope he never changes that.
That's the hardest thing to find too, isn't it? Like you got to find that voice, and like guys like Punk or Cena or whatever, like you feel it's legitimate. It's not them playing like a character.
Facts.
You feel like that's them or whatever. And that when you can hit that, and he's already hit it in NXT
at 21, dog,
be huge.
Crazy.
That's a good point, man. His promos are on point, and yeah, he's got a big future ahead of him. Tunney, who's your breakout star of the year, man?
I love the Javon Evans pick because, like, I think he's going to be the breakout star the year he's up on the main roster in giant storylines. Like, I think that's when he's going to be the breakout star. Not that he isn't this year. I'm going to give it to Maxine Dupree. That's who I'm going to give it to. Why not? I mean, I want to shout out the ladies as much as I possibly can, and for her to get the IC title, let's see what she can do. It's funny that Tozawa and Otis are like cut proof. You think about when to get to cuts time and people that you may or may not like think should stick around, but they're there. I'm thrilled for her. I want to see what they can do when they get some time moving forward here in the new year with her. So,
and shout out to Natty.
He has him, yeah,
because there is no Maxine without Natty.
No, Natty's influence is huge because Maxine she was awful in ring last year. She's gotten a lot better, like to the point that she can hang in there with Becky and do what she does. And you look at her now as the IC champ and say, yeah, she can go, and you couldn't say that about her before. So yeah, that's a good call, Ray. Natty's had a huge influence on Maxine Dupree. DP, what do you got? Who's your breakout star of the year, man?
Yeah, I like Maxine. That's a good call too, because that kind of makes me feel like like Trish Stratus when she first started out too. Like you didn't think like, oh, she's gonna actually try wrestling, ooh boy, and then no, she worked her ass off and did it, and that's what Maxine feels like she's doing. For me, I also picked Stephanie Vaquer. Just a ridiculously great year. Started off first in NXT and then main roster right on. Well, she was in the Royal Rumble, but then started officially really main roster Raw after Mania and hasn't looked back since. I mean, boy, they knew what they had in her and they strapped the rocket onto her quick. That the first match right off the bat with EO, that was just, knocked it out of the house right off the bat on that Raw, and then defeated EO for the world title when she won her first world title. They gave her the crown jewel, whatever thing they want to call that, but defeated Tiffany at crown jewel.
Ended run.
So I mean, yeah, the sky's the limit for her, and she's already, world champion that quickly. And like Ray said, picked up great promos too, like picked up that, has the English language down and could just kind of do it all, and did that very quickly. So I thought phenomenal year for Stephanie, and probably might be, wrestler of the year, if not this year, probably next, but that's for part 2.
We'll see. We'll see next time. That's a great call. AJ, who is your breakout star of the year?
I'm going to actually give it to someone outside of WWE where, Joe Hendry's been showing up in NXT and everything else, and Maxine Dupree, the women's intercontinental champion at the current moment in time. But for me, the breakout star of the year, which, yes, has been building for a year plus, has been Mike Santana. Mike has been showing up. He's been making sure he is that main event star. He's broken off of LAX. He's broken off of Ortiz. And he made it possible where Slammiversary, I thought he was going to win. And I was hook and reel debated when it came to Trick Williams pretending he got hurt, but he retained the TNA World Championship, ultimately to lose it at Bound for Glory to Mike Santana. He is the breakout star, because everyone likes to jokingly say that in a tag team there is a Shawn Michaels and a Marty Jannetty, and the Shawn Michaels of that LAX team with Santana and Ortiz since TNA, since AEW, has been Mike Santana, and he betted on himself, just like we were saying before. Betted on himself. He won the world championship. He became a TNA namestay where it's, you believe in him. He can do these things. He can go, quote unquote, to paraphrase his finishing move, around the block. He can do all of these things, and he is a star in the making. So that's why Breakout Star of the Year is Mike Santana for me.
Yeah, I like the call, man. That's several Mike Santana mentions on this part one. Kenny, who's your breakout star of the year, man?
Well, before I go to my breakout of the year, I want to give a shout out and give some love to Kyle Fletcher. Now, the reason why I give some love to this guy is because a lot of the best matches this year he's involved in. Literally, I hear his name everywhere, in written, seen on the TV. Like, some of the best matches this year included this guy.
All the
And to
injuries
break
too.
away from the United Empire, and go toe to toe with Ospreay, who last year was the best wrestler in the world, right? And have the breakout year that he has this year in AEW, in that company, where, you know, some people could say, oh, you know, they have so many similar guys, but he made himself stand out. So I got to give him a shout. But my overall breakout of the year is Obafemi. WWE, right, like to really push their homegrown people, right? People who have started from scratch, put the work in, right? All the way throughout the year. So you're forgetting the guy won the title at the beginning of the year. Yeah. Well, the NXT title at the beginning of the year. And they built him up so well to be this monster, the ruler. We hit him with a decent gimmick, to the point that he turns up on SmackDown, going face to face with the undisputed champion, and didn't look out of place. You know what they're about to do with this guy. You know what, and you've seen the blueprint. You know, with Roman Reigns, Bianca Belair, Charlotte. You've seen it. They're athletic people coming from college, learning from scratch. Not, no kind of indie rub on them, and they push those guys. So you know what's going to happen with him. So for me, it's Obafemi.
Could be. I know Tunney's talked about Sami Zayn winning the Rumble, but Oba might be a dark horse to win the Royal Rumble. You look at guys who could come in there and make a huge impact. He's one of these guys. I'll bring this category home. I'm also going NXT, but it's nobody you guys have mentioned yet. Tunney will know where I'm going with this because I've been very high on this girl for a couple of years now. And it's Sol Ruca. Sol Ruca, when she first started, we had talked about, I know it was me and Tunney and DJ on an episode of the Big Five. And I was talking about the Soul Snatchers being probably the best finisher I'd seen in a while. And we were concerned at the time about how it was so dependent on the other person putting themselves in the proper position. That is not the case anymore. Soul can hit that fucking thing out of anywhere at any time. It is the equivalent now of the RKO out of nowhere. She can nail that fucking thing anywhere that she wants to. And it's not always dependent on the other person. You look at what she did this year, breaking out, double champion, going on Saturday night's main event, beating Bayley in that, in that big spot. She's going to be a major star. She can cut a promo already. She's got the look. She's got all those intangibles out there for her. So for me, everything you guys said is absolutely correct. I take nothing away from Obafemi, Mike Santana, any of the other ones. But for me, it's Sol Ruca. I've been on this girl's bandwagon for a couple of years now. I'm going to stay there. When she hits the main roster, she's going to make a big difference. So Sol Ruca's my pick, man. All right. Final category for part one of the Swaggies. Rob, you're going to bring us home on this one. It is your rivalry/feud of the year. What do you got here, man? Bring us on home, Rob.
All right, I'm gonna make it fast. Jade and Naomi. Actually, like I said, there weren't a whole lot of great storylines or whatever this year. From the very, it started off like rocket fuel. Because just coming back out there and just beating the dog shit out of her, and she did then, and then the following Friday they had the promo segment with Naomi and Bianca, where Naomi finally confessed to having been the one to do it, and then Jade came out there beat her ass again, and Naomi tormented her several times. They had they had a couple of matches, and all the way up to the no hold barred match at Evolution. For me, yeah, just in terms of hitting all the beats, start, finish, stuff in between, matches, promos, other segments, I think they nailed everything, and I think they did it better than anybody else this year.
That was certainly one of the biggest and best feuds of the year, that's for sure. Tunney, what do you got here, man?
I don't know. I didn't think there was a lot of great rivalry feuds like year long. I think there was a lot of ones that happened like really quick. So I'm going to go internally here, internally to this show. Rivalry of the year is Rey Ca and Rob Bonette.
Wow.
Yeah, they love it. They'll eat that shit up all day.
How dare you pit father and son against each other?
Hey, well, hey, Maury has he has the test results back in. You are not the father.
The dude that dances the best of that fucking thing. Yeah, that's the amazing one. Anyway, but no, I mean, I would probably do the couples feud for the rivalry of the year. I thought that AJ and Punk versus Becky and Seth was a really cool thing this year.
That's one certainly. Dan, what do you got, man? What is your rivalry of the year?
Well, just as you said, PC Tunney, I was going to try and get him on every category I possibly could.
Yeah, go for it. I was just saying strictly on the amount of times that Becky Lynch slapped CM Punk in the face. I'm done now. Sorry, Dan.
How many times?
Several.
At least
You're a big fan. You're a big fan of that slap in the face.
Slap
Well,
in the
then they
face.
decided
What'd you
to
say?
do it
Too many
again.
storylines.
Slaps in the
Then
face.
they
Too many
decided to do it
storylines.
again lazily, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Tony Atlas
so mine-
loves the feet. Tunney loves the slaps.
So,
You
So
look
my
like you got
pick-
2 broken arms, kid.
all these years I've known you, I'm
Cena.
just finding out your kink, huh? Okay.
Cena versus Cody is my feud of the year. I mean, they main evented the top 2 pay-per-views of WWE for the year. Don't often see that happen in one year. So I gave it to them. Not only that, but the street fight at SummerSlam was great. I mean, their whole SummerSlam setup was great. John Cena turning back to the babyface. The entrance was part of that too, as well as the heel turn was on with Cody. The babyface turned back with Cody. So, I mean, yeah, it wasn't necessarily all year long, but the fact that they came back to it, they main evented WrestleMania and SummerSlam. Not many people can do that. So for me, it was Cena and Cody.
No, not many people can do that. That's a solid pick there, man. AJ, what do you got here, man? What's your rivalry of the year?
So for me, the rivalry of the year, believe it or not, is going to be Frankie Kazarian being Kaz and Joe Hendry. Because since the beginning of the year, Joe Hendry and Frankie Kazarian have been in a long-standing feud to the point where Kazarian won it. Joe Hendry won it. Kazarian kind of was the antithesis of him, calling himself the king of TNA. Trick Williams, Mike Santana, and all that. Frankie was a big proponent in that. He was the special guest referee during that match, to the point where him and Nick Nemeth won the Call Your Shot Gauntlet for Bound for Glory, which is their little, you can...
Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
I still say Feast or Fired, but not the point. Yes, Money in the Bank, where you win the match, you get that opportunity to win a world championship opportunity. And currently, which hopefully you guys listened to the 500th episode of DWI, Frankie Kazarian is our newest Grand Slam champion in their company, where he beat Mike Santana after all the bull crap with Joe Hendry. So it was a long-standing thing where Frankie Kazarian was the thorn in Joe Hendry's side, and until Joe left TNA to go to NXT, Kazarian was always there, the good old king of TNA.
I did not think of that one, but that's AJ and Andrew, the TNA guys for sure. But I like the call.
I had to live up to the A Balaz. Granted, it might be Adam Balaz or Andrew Balaz, but it had to be A Balaz for TNA.
I appreciate the consistency, sir. Absolutely. So I'm not going to call you Mr. Balaz ever again. AJ, thank you so much. Kitty, what is your rivalry of the year?
Well, I was torn between 2, and one of them I was torn with was Oba versus Javon, because these guys were just battling it out literally all year in some amazing matches. But instead, I went with Rob, man, and I went with Jade and Naomi, because when Jade just kicked the shit out of a man, and then I think it coincided with a character change for Naomi, which was the perceived caution is wicked, by the way. I love that. And I think she would have gone on to have a really, really good year. She obviously she wasn't gonna have the baby, but yeah, the matches as well. I think the finish in one of their last matches, I think where Jade twisted her up into the Jaded, and she did like a powerbomb move as well, which was just like, what the hell was that? Yeah, I think they didn't overdo it. I don't think. I think they managed to kind of cook it nicely, and we got what we got. So yeah, it's gonna be Jade and
There's two for them. My pick for Rivalry of the Year is CM Punk and Seth Rollins. These are guys who they started at the very first Raw on Netflix with the anticipated match. We're all like, why aren't they fighting at WrestleMania? They started at the Raw on Netflix. They go to Elimination Chamber, and we already talked about all the drama with Elimination Chamber. They're involved in the triple threat match, which, as Ray indicated, had a triple turn in there. Or somebody was talking about the whole Paul Heyman thing. They go on with the ruse of the century wrapped around Seth Rollins just deliberately faking an injury for the sole purpose of screwing over his most hated rival. And he had the cash in. And if Seth had not gotten hurt, that thing would still be going on. And rest assured, when Seth comes back, they will be right back at each other's throats. We know from the behind the scenes, the Netflix show, right? What was it? Unreal, I think was a Netflix show. We know from watching that these guys do not hate each other at all in real life. They get along very well and are working with each other, but you would never know that from watching them on screen. And if there was some real animosity between them for a while, that is now dissipated. But these two guys are quintessential professionals. They are awesome together. To me, there was no rivalry bigger and more dramatic as far as storytelling than CM Punk and Seth Rollins this year. And I know that, Tunney, you had a variation with Punk and AJ versus Becky and Seth, but for me specifically, digging right down to it, it's Seth and Punk. And it wasn't that hard for me to make that pick, but that's me. Ray, what do you got here? You were nodding, so maybe you are with me on this one.
Agreed.
You're bringing us home.
Honorable mention to Jay Naomi, which is like B, but it's Rollins Punk. And you could even extend it to Rollins, Punk, Heyman, and Reigns, because some mix of all four of them all year, they all interconnected and all had beef with each other. And like, you could even think of it's still extended that Seth is out because he got hurt, but his own group, who's run by Heyman, kicked him out to continue feuding with Punk, right? And Roman's come back to help, like War Games was essentially Punk and Roman versus Seth's group and Heyman. So yeah, that's it to me. They've main evented the biggest shows. They've had the biggest storylines. They've mattered the most. It's got to be those guys.
Would you guys have wanted to see a Heyman's Hell Fatal 4-Way at WrestleMania for one of the titles, which is Lesnar, Reigns, Punk, and Rollins? Like,
not anymore.
I couldn't imagine a bigger story you could tell.
At one point, I wasn't scared. Not anymore.
Yeah, I take it.
I wouldn't hate it.
I'm not gonna.
I wouldn't hate it.
I have no interest in seeing Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar ever fight each other again in a one-on-one or a singles match.
100%
scenario.
I didn't pitch a singles match.
No, right. But what I'm saying is, in a one fall matchup, no interest. Like the War Game was perfect because it was 10 people. No interest.
I just want to see Lesnar and Gunther together. That's all I want to see.
I think that's what I think
Brock
we all think that's what we're getting.
Oba. Or Lesnar and Oba. Give me that as well.
There's a few great Brock matches out there. Brock and Javon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, man. Brock might break
would throw Javon into the upper deck.
Yeah.
Oba already threw him over the ropes through the table. Brock would probably throw him, yes, like you said.
Yeah.
The fourth
no,
rope.
like
into
literally.
The upper deck.
Yeah.
Into the upper deck.
Have you seen that clip
All
of Bam Bam throwing Spike into the crowd and them catching him? They would
I was gonna say, shout out to.
Here's the thing: what happened with Javon Evans and Brock Lesnar? Brock Lesnar would throw Javon Evans into the crowd, and the crowd would throw him back like John Cena's T-shirt. Then Brock would throw him back into the crowd again, like ECW.
How strong?
This isn't baseball. This isn't baseball.
How light is Javon Evans? Like, don't get me wrong, he was up there.
Like a
112
big beach ball, just like a beach ball.
Javon has that Randy Orton build in that he's skinny as fuck, but he's tall. So don't underestimate how big he is.
He's wiry.
So you're telling me our best weapon is wiry?
That's right.
Look,
he's wiry.
He's going to get on the IYKYK Pro.
Smoking on the field.
Exactly.
IYKYK Pro. All right.
Shout out to Rob.
Guys,
IYKYK Pro.
That's going to do it. We've been here for almost 3 hours on part one of the Swaggys. I want to thank you guys, all of you, so much for being a part of this thing. It was a great show, great conversation. Give your guys social media contact information as we cut out of here, starting with the one and only PC Tunney.
Follow me at PC Tunney.
Nah, go ahead. Get it out the way
That's-
too. Go ahead.
Follow Ray
Oh,
at
yeah.
It's Rey Ca, REY is Mysterio, CASH as in $. Woo woo.
That's my
Thank you.
that's my purple concierge. If you can't tell, guys.
That's your consigliere or something.
No,
DP,
you're the
where
consigliere.
can people? Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, I forgot. Dan, where can people check you out on social media?
You can find me all over the worldwide social media interwebs at It's Me DP.
AJ, I don't even know if you've got a social media presence anymore. If people want to like hit you up like personally, is there a way that they can
Yeah.
get a hold of you, or are you just going to leave that out for now?
I'm not gonna lie, I deleted a lot of stuff because
AJ at
Give us
At
phone
I
number.
deleted a lot of
BYU
stuff due to
Sports.
doom scrolling because God, doom scrolling is a thing. But you can still follow me on other things at Phenomenal AJB. That's AJB in all caps. And not only that, you can follow thechairshot.com. We're not just podcast galore, we are articles galore, sports entertainment. You got it all on thechairshot.com.
He suddenly vertically challenged Kinny Killa. I don't know, Kenny's perspective
I think he
changed.
said, Dave, after the
There he
season
is.
finale of
There he
Stranger
is.
Things, is he in the Upside Down?
There he is. Kenny's back. Kenny,
I'm
my
here.
brother, so good to have you on. Always a pleasure to have you around. It is awesome. Where can people? You do still have a bit of a social media presence, so where can people check you out at?
Well, literally, like Twitter is only for you guys. I only stay around on Twitter for you guys. Literally, that is it. So
Thanks, buddy.
you can catch me on Twitter. It's at Kinny Killa, or you can catch me on half my Instagram, at Kinchin Killa.
The man with half an Instagram. That is right. Rob, where can people check you out on social media?
On Twitter, Blue Sky at RBONNE1. And yeah. And Ray, I yell at you all the time, Ray, but I do love you, brother.
Love you, man.
It's so good to see a
That's
father and son
bullshit. They
reconcile.
fucking hate each other. They can't
I
wait
love
to
seeing
yell
a
at each other's
father and
asses.
And if you want to
That fucking
send a
make me
Father's Day
puke. That's
card,
bullshit.
much like Rey
Don't end
Ca,
the show with that stupid shit. Tell each other how much you hate each other.
So beautiful. As far as me, you can follow me on X, which is where I usually hang out at Attitude Ag, that is at Attitude AGG. You can go to facebook.com/attitude of aggression, the website attitudeofaggression.com, which as Tunney knows has been revamped considerably over the last couple of months. The YouTube channel is up and running and that sort of thing. So that's at the Attitude of Aggression YouTube channel. And yeah, all that stuff coming up. We got part 2 of the Swaggys coming up. We got going back to unidentified history. I haven't even talked to Kenny about whether he gives a flying shit about UAPs and UFOs and all that weird stuff. But, you know, I probably need to reach out to him one of these days and see how he feels about that. But that is going to do it for the first part of the 11th Annual Swaggy Awards. We'll be back with part 2 pretty soon to talk about matches of the year and wrestlers of the year. Until next time, wrestling fans and aggressionaholics, stay aggressive, do it with attitude. We will catch you soon for part 2 of the 11th Annual Swaggy Awards. Thank everybody for tuning in again. So long, everyone.